can actually see us.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Paragon City Games, a legacy stream.
This feels so backwards. Like,
it is kind of backwards.
I'm way over here, you're over there.
You're actually a little more on the screen than normal.
So I should be like right here?
Yeah, that's usually how you are.
Okay,
yeah.
right here we go, guys.
Well, awesome. We have things getting started already. So, do we know this is
Zach
this
and
is
Brian?
Zach.
We have Brian on food chain. We're going to start off seeing some food chaining. And Zach is on a 4-color death plate. That's what he called it.
That's what he told. That's what he told me.
We can make up new names as we go.
We sure can. Oh man!
Since those 4-color lists, sometimes as they're being played, you never know what they are until the 8th card gets played.
All right, let's take a look. They're getting shuffled up.
We have Yellow Sleeves versus Kaya. Kaya? Is that what it is?
Kaya. Mm-hmm. I can never actually remember what the card does, but all I remember was it was strictly mediocre.
It's actually, it might be a legacy playable card in a few decks. Like a sideboard.
Well, it can like blink a permanent, right? And it like can blink herself.
Yeah.
I don't even. I can't
don't
remember.
What I've seen it occasionally in lists, and maybe those are just like, I want to try this Planeswalker in my legacy deck. Zach mulligans, and Brian takes a look. And he shows us. We get to see it. He's got some lands, a Deathrite Ponder, Trinket Mage, Misdirection, and a last card I didn't quite see. We've got June and Ryan on our other table. I have no idea what they're playing.
That's okay. We get a secret peek.
And I don't believe these guys have played in our store before. So
Neither of them have?
I don't think so.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, it looks like... Oh, Zach has a mana and a brainstorm, so this is if he's on the play, that's an easy keep. If he's on the draw, he's going to keep it anyway.
Okay. Scry, keep it there. That's good.
So he's on the play? Oh. There we go. Yeah, so, Jorgensen, you're back!
Oh, I moved the chat. That's probably something I should put back to where it's supposed to be.
There we go.
There we go.
We changed places. I know, this is really disconcerting, is what it is.
I, like, sat down in this chair, and then he sat down in that chair, and I was like, so are we switching places? And he goes, I mean, we can move. And I'm like, we don't need to move.
So, Zach has a counterspell right here. I think he uses it on Deathrite Shaman.
Let's not something he ever wants to deal with. He's going to brainstorm, and then... Oh, yeah, he'll daze, float the blue, and then he'll get the brainstorm there. Oh, misdirection.
And so this works. Like, it costs Brian 2 cards. Zach's all right with that, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That's...
That misdirection got countered.
Here's brainstorm. So if Zach doesn't see a land here, he's in trouble. That's what that looks like. That's always a problem when you're dazing on turn 1 like this, because if you have the 1 fetch land in hand and you're hoping to brainstorm, you don't then get to shuffle away anything, right? Right. And so we see here Zach gets a Deathrite Shaman, but now he's locked. He doesn't have a land on the top 2 cards of his library.
So what's your preference? Do you like the shaded Deathrite Shaman, or do you like the one that's like all normal but with the signature? I mean,
well, for some reason I'm a little biased, just a little bit.
What? Why?
That Deathrite Shaman is pretty sweet looking. Is more than 0?
Oh, I know how I know it didn't really get countered.
Your daze gets misdirected to. I need a target. What can I target?
This misdirection. Then it resolves and your spell fizzles.
I think Zach should have paid 1. Really, he had a floating mana.
Right. Because it fizzles. Right. It technically gets countered.
That's a shiny Leovold right there. There's 2 kinds of Leovolds in this world. That's one.
The shiny kind and the non-shiny kind.
Right.
Those are actually the only kind of Leovolds there are. Well,
I guess there's altered kinds.
You get altered kinds and signed kinds. No, that's
damaged ones.
Damaged ones.
There's lots of kinds, right? The right kind and the shiny. Oh!
All the gross kinds.
Here's a food chain.
The right kind and the shiny kind.
So, if anybody doesn't know what food chain is, we could bring it up. But we've shown food chain a few times.
For all the people who don't know, this may just be the weirdest card to put in a legacy deck.
Yeah, I like that. There we go. So, what this enables Brian to do is he can pretty much create infinite mana.
Yeah.
Because he's got a couple creatures in his deck that when he sacrifices them, you don't even sack them, you just remove them from the game, right? And you get to add mana equal to their cost, plus a little bit more. But those cards, he's got Mist Hologriffins and the Eldrazi 3-drop, which I always forget the name of. Those allow him to play those from exile. They're like the only cards that you can play from exile, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All over it. I've seen, he wrote it in like Sharpie. He wrote combo. All over that card. So
you can see it if you squint your eyes.
Zach would have had a chance to play something here, but there's no lands in graveyards. So he's, that brainstorm lock, playing that daze, and then not getting to shuffle hurt.
So Brian had all of his basic lands like hand-picked, super particular about his lands, and then the Rebecca Guay lands got foiled.
So he had
and then everything changed.
Well,
now it's just the Rebecca Guay ones. That's it. And he feels good about that. So.
But they're unsigned. Well, he doesn't have anything in his deck signed, does he? Just like the Chris Rush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just have to be foil.
They're pretty. They're
really
cool.
are.
It's kind of silly that they say Standard Showdown all over them. I mean, in the bottom corner.
Yeah, but
it seems a little unnecessary for a foil that's going to go in like legacy decks and stuff.
They've started labeling the cards down there all the time, especially if they're a promo. They like to. Lately, they've been putting, "Hey, it's this particular promo," which actually is kind of nice. Instead of just calling everything a media promo, they're like, "Hey, this is how people got this."
And I don't mind that. It'd be nice if they're like they do 3 letters for each set name, right? They could do 3 letters for each promo name. It doesn't need to say Standard Showdown 2017, brought to you by Jiffy Lube or something like that. Like, I don't know.
It definitely doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Jiffy Lube.
So it looks like Brian maybe just made a small mistake. He taps his Deathrite Shaman first, which allowed Zach to respond. And,
to cast something.
To get rid of, I don't think it's going to matter, but...
Leovold is already putting Zach in such a...
You don't want them to run out. You're right. Someday soon we're going to have A, B, C, D, E, F. I don't know. I saw the lands. I was like, "Ooh, these are really pretty." Oh, it says Standard Showdown right on.
You're like, how can I use something in Legacy that says Standard right on it? How?
If only I knew a way to cover that up.
If only. What, Mr. Gator? What? I don't even know. What do you want from me? Well, he's been able to take care of like most things. It's the Leovold that's the problem, though. How are you supposed to?
Well, and really the problem is he doesn't have lands, right?
Oh, that's what Mr. Gator's like WTF about. Okay, makes sense. You cut my hair. That's actually not true. Not to be like correcting or anything like that, but I did not cut my hair.
You didn't do it yourself.
I did make the choice to have my hair cut, but it was not me.
Goodness, apparently Zach plays with 2 lands, a fetch land and a tropical land. So let's see what our other table. Maybe we can discover what they're playing.
Yeah, sure. Let's just jump on over.
Their sideboarding every time.
It is really weird. But it looks like we have burn.
What's the legacy sleeper? Hey. Standard bear. It could be. It's really frustrating in what draft format has the
standard bear
has the flag. Is it
No, Jorgensen. Stop. Oh. We just talked about this.
Oh no.
We can't play with legacy with it, standard cards in legacy. If it says standard on it, then why are you playing it in legacy? We just went through this.
Oh, I see. No, there is a one of the flag bearers in a certain format in a draft format that
was that the one that was EMA?
Too. So, yeah, something.
No, it was EMA. It was EMA.
Recently.
It was the 4-mana 2/4.
And every time it gets played, you're just going, I lost because
like, this card's really annoying.
Target your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, these guys might not finish shuffle or mulliganing before our other table does.
Why is this chat not working? You noticed that too? Oh, there it is. Okay, fixed it.
Yeah. Which there's other ways to do it, right? There's other ways to protect your stuff. Mother of Runes seems like a pretty good legacy white card.
It's fine.
Maybe does a better job.
Yeah, usually there are better ways. Definitely. My brother, if he was in the chat right now, he'd be like, "Brave the elements! It's all about brave the elements."
Let's see what table 1 looks like since these guys.
Yeah, jump back.
Taking a moment. Yeah. Sideboarding.
This is kind of every week for us, isn't it? It's like one person ends their game and we're like, okay, that's fine. We have more Magic. That's why we have these other people set up right next to them. And nothing.
So Zach's looking at 2 Meddling Mage, 2 Ethersworn Canonist, a Sword, Fire and Ice, and a Needle.
Okay.
And you can't Pithing Needle Food Chain.
You can't.
You can Deathrite Shaman, though.
Yeah.
But then he's got his own, so.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a little obnoxious that it is that you can't Pithing Needle it. Oh, look, Jorgensen! Look at what Brian's doing. You see it.
But Ethersworn Canonist is a pretty strong answer, right? Because then you can't combo off.
Yes, you cannot combo off with Ethersworn Canonist there. Definitely a good card to bring in. But how many times have we seen Brian just like play this food chain deck and like play a food chain and just like never use it and play a Leovold and then a Baleful Strix and then a Deathrite and just kind of win the game with those?
It ends up being a weird must-answer card because you don't know if Brian has it or not, right? Because he needs it and Misthollow. And so if Misthollow's in exile already, but there's ways he can put it there. So often when I'm playing against Food Chain, I'm really worried about the enchantment Food Chain, and Brian's going, look, I've got good things out that I can just beat you with.
Right. He's like got a Gurmag Angler and a Deathrite Shaman and like
and a Leovold.
And
you won.
Yeah. Like, go ahead, play around my combo.
Right.
Like
way to kill the thing that I wasn't worried about at all. Nope. And you can see Zach's not sure either. He's not exactly sure how he wants to sideboard.
And that's why this deck is so difficult to combat. Its combo is real, and sometimes they're just going to tempo you out. I mean, playing the deck that I play against Food Chain, it actually I just lose to them playing creatures. I can't tell you how many times they just go, Misthollow Griffin, just cast it from their hand, and I'm just looking at my hand going, I can't Abrupt Decay it, I can't, like. Right. Nothing kills it properly except for Lightning Bolt, and I only have a couple of those in my deck. Like, I'm in trouble. I don't have any flyers.
It's a flyer, and it's kind of big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm like playing Liliana, like, Liliana, get rid of that 3/3. Yep. Like, it's actually kind of obnoxious in Legacy, and the deck just doesn't ever have a problem getting to 4 mana.
So Zach's going to take out 1 Daze and all the forces. He's still on the play, so Daze is still a strong card.
Yeah, he'll probably switch the way he does it, depending on whether he goes first or second.
He keeps in Swords to Plowshares, which is a weird card in that it exiles, and depending on your target, sometimes you'd rather not exile.
The combo games, it's going to look really bad, but if Brian is just trying to grind the game out, then you need answers for stuff like Leovold and Gurmag Angler and, Massacre Worm, and like the other weird one-ofs that Brian has. Gotta kill walking ballistas.
All right. Now we're into the shuffle phase of this waiting around.
The shuffle phase. As much as I watch, we'll take a peek at the other match, and it's like already started. No, it hasn't.
Just started.
What's the other deck gonna be? I saw one was burned, so I labeled it, but not sure what the other one is. Is it Manaless Dredge?
It might be Manaless Dredge. I think that's what that is.
I think that is what that is.
You can switch real quick and show what we're seeing if you want. Why we're thinking that. We're looking at it on a small screen, so.
Yeah, we can transition real quick.
Because anytime you see that, it's usually Manaless Dredge.
I don't.
Discard?
I can't even remember the name of this card, but like every time I see this card, I know what I'm playing against.
Yeah. And they don't really care at that point. Right?
No.
Like, unless you brought in specific sideboard hate. And it feels really good when you can, like, Fairy Macabre that away.
Yeah, there's definitely Manaless Dredge, 100%. This has got to be a weird matchup.
So he discards cards from his hand in order to bring that back.
Yep. And then he'll go to his draw step. He'll dredge 5.
All right, we'll switch back to some real Magic. I mean, Manaless Dredge is real. All right, Hierarch. Oh, look, Zach has 3 mana available. What is this?
I don't know.
It's got to be like just a breath of fresh air.
He's like, I get to play this game.
Yeah. He sees 3 of the 4 colors in his deck. And turn 3, he says, I have this.
Whoa.
A signed True Name Nemesis.
Yep. So I think that Brian doesn't have a ton of answers for this, but I mean, we all know I mentioned Massacre Worm.
Right? That is a thing.
I mean, that's a 6-drop, but you know, Brian can also just combo. Man, turn 2 with no answer to a True Name Nemesis. It is brutal.
Yeah, and it's a pretty quick clock, but it's also not unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
Deathrite into Deathrite.
And this can potentially give Brian some more time as well. You know, kill a creature, gain 2 life. It almost nullifies a full attack from True Name, provided it didn't have any equipment on it.
Yeah, and depending on what Zach does, if he's got a Stoneforge Mystic that he can go equip, suddenly the clock changes a lot.
Mm-hmm. Which I want to say I saw a Stoneforge Mystic in his hand, but I could be wrong. A 3rd Deathrite.
All of the Deathrites. No, there's one more somewhere in that deck.
Hey, what's up, Jordan? Welcome in.
Wasteland is kind of awkward here. If you wasteland one of Brian's lands, normally that's an obvious play, but with all of those Deathrites out, they just get to use the mana.
Mm-hmm.
All they want. All right. Zach resolving a brainstorm. Looks like he sees a bunch of lands. And that white card in the end is probably going to be what he wants to play. I don't know what it is, but it's probably the card. Let's see. It's either a Stoneforge or a Ethersworn.
Sigmanugari, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And welcome into the chat, my friend. Yeah, he has a lot of options with this hand. There's many ways that he can take it. But 3 Deathray Shaman is very, very obnoxious. And that's all Brian can really do, though, right?
I think he's got a Gurmag Angler in hand, which he's not too far away from being able to do something with.
Yeah. The issue also is that there's all these Deathrite Shaman that want to use the land in the graveyard, but so does Gurmag Angler.
Right. Yeah, he's not quite there, is he? Being able to
No,
do
not
everything
quite.
he wants. We're getting an up-close preview of a scrub land. There's some black for Zach. I'm not sure why.
Look, it's different than Tundra, guys. Yeah, that's weird.
And the choice is... People. Oh, it's a Gideon. Ally of Zendikar is the white card.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a scary card.
It's true. They do. They do look quite
They
similar.
do.
That one's a scrub land.
What a scrub.
The second worst dual land.
A second worst.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Almost as bad as bad lands.
Right.
Almost.
Almost.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten our discussion about this.
Okay.
Very fresh in my memory.
When the most exciting thing to talk about is revised duels. All right. And Zach's going to do something, maybe.
Maybe not.
and his true name's Exalted too, right? So he's hitting for 4.
Yeah, he is.
That's a thing. It's kind of amazing what a different clock 3 power toughness creature versus a 4 power presents.
Yeah, it really is.
So Brian might be in one of the weird situations where all death rights and nothing else doesn't actually work out very well for him.
No, he's not in a good position. He actually does need to push towards combo.
So he can Abrupt Decay Leovold. Brian can. No! Not Plateau. Exactly. I like it, Jorgensen. Some TLC for his no love for Scrublands.
You just expect too much from me, okay?
All right, so that's what happened. Abrupt Decay, Leovold. Zach, I think, drew a card. I was too busy reading Jorgensen's song that he's written for you. Probably. It's funny how often that comes up.
No, you saw what happened this morning. Some person told me I looked like I was 18. And then he he put 18 and then downgraded me to 16 immediately.
Haircuts will do that.
I mean, I shaved my face too. I don't know.
There was a song Brian quoted the other day in chat, and it was not that old, and nobody got it except me and Brian are talking about this. It was like, come on, this isn't some ancient song. This is, I don't remember which one it was now.
Oh, Jorgensen, I have tried to grow a beard, and I know I could grow a good one, but it always gets to this point where it's just kind of itchy and uncomfortable, and then the second it gets to that point, I just shave it off. I don't know. That's just always how it's been.
Yeah, last time I shaved completely, I had somebody knock on my door, and I opened the door. Hey, is your dad home? And I was like, never.
You're growing it back out.
just leave, guy. Whatever you want, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe at some point while I'm streaming for Paragon City, I'll grow a beard. That would be a pretty hefty donation though, so I don't think that's ever going to happen.
All right, Brian's in the damage control, live as long as possible race here, which because he's got a combo deck, maybe he has if he gets the perfect draw next turn, but I just don't think that's going to happen here.
No.
He gets to see 3 cards, though, so might as well.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. What could he possibly do here? He could. There's nothing. He could scoop right here.
Right.
Even if he sees food chain, he doesn't have something to cast after that, and then he's just dead.
Oh, I miss Sigmonogari's post saying, "Isn't Plateau the worst dual land?" See, he wasn't here for our discussion.
Right.
Right, because Badlands is the worst.
It's inherently just bad.
Right, and then Scrublands is the second worst, and all the rest are just jumbled up.
Well, no. There's a hierarchy, right? Like,
oh, okay.
Like Underground Sea is probably the best, and
right.
Some people would claim Tundra's next, even though, I mean, those are Miracle players, so they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah,
but
Plateau's pretty far down the list.
It's probably the next worst.
It's because it was high, and then it got, like, the top kind of just flattened off, right?
Made it kind of low.
It went up, and then it plateaued.
Right, it did. Sigmonogari, as of right now, we know about Food Chain, we know about 4-color Deathblade, there's a Burn Deck and a Manaless Dredge on our other table, but besides that, we have over 20 other players.
Yeah.
So
I know there's a Storm in the house
We
today.
have a lot of decks.
I'm sure we have lands, a nice, with Tabernacle lands.
I bet you we have a Miracles deck.
It would be a miracle if there wasn't. All right.
I know there's a Jund deck. I know that. I do know.
Brian looks at okay, he's going to keep playing. I think I would have just scooped there. Bayou is clearly because of Death Ray Shaman.
Bayou is my personal favorite.
Okay.
Oh, Sigmonogari, you need to read the name Badlands just to know how bad it is.
Right.
That's what we're making our judgment off of.
It's a land that is...
It's a land that is bad.
Yeah.
And then the second worst land is Scrubland.
Jorgensen, you're not supposed to explain this. This is obviously not something that you're supposed to talk about. The first rule of dual... Goodness, we're having a misdirection battle over Pithing Needle. Or Pithing Needle, or...
Pithing? Pithing.
Every time. And it just totally doesn't matter.
If we say them all, then we cover everybody's preference.
Pithing.
That's a new one. I like it.
You have to make the head nod as you say that.
Yeah.
Jorgensen's like, make it stop.
We're torturing Jorgensen.
Make it stop. I've heard this before. Okay. So the needle comes down. And
we're going to get rid of Gideon.
It piths.
Piths.
One of those things.
Pith.
And it's kind of nice, right? The fact that it is taking out a planeswalker is great and all, but...
It's practically a removal spell in this case.
Brian's at 8.
Yeah.
So he's on a 2-turn clock here.
And he doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. Not only that, but I just saw that Zach has a Swords of Plowshares.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for the inevitable game 3 here.
Yeah. If he top decks another land, would he be... I think he would be able to cast the Mist Hollow Griffin from the exile.
And if he gets Food Chain, then he gets unlimited mana, and...
He still needs a Ballista, though.
Yeah. So, okay, he's going to keep playing. We're going to see what happens.
Making things interesting.
Things are going to untap. Certain other things are staying tapped.
Stoneforge Mystic? I'd say that's pretty good. Like, maybe end the game quality right here?
Let's see.
Maybe? Maybe not.
There's a land in the graveyard. So Brian has access to 2 mana right now, but Zach's got his own Deathrite, so he's really only got the 1.
I imagine he would go get Jitte, because Jitte is the one that he can cast and equip this turn, and he'd be able to get counters and kill another Deathrite Shaman. Just pushing Brian further off of getting back into the game.
Yeah, so he's just thinking about what's the best way to end this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Stoneforge.
I found this thing.
You got that.
You got that thing you got.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it Nahiri? Or, no, I mean, no, it's not good.
Another past discussion we don't want to bring up right now. Man, that one went on for a while. That was bad.
Yeah, other people took that and ran with it, and I got lost.
Yep, but he's going to go grab Jite. It's almost like I thought of this. Almost.
Cast it.
Yeah.
And
let's throw that on a true name Nemesis.
Exiling
land. And he gets to come in for 5. Putting Brian to 3. Gets 2 counters. I imagine he's just going to use these 2 counters to get rid of a Death Right. But he doesn't necessarily need to. I know I would.
I'm not sure that the Death Rights are doing much either. But okay.
No, but they are Brian's potential to get back into this game.
Right.
But you're right, they're not doing much.
All right, Sylvan Library sees some cards.
I saw an Eternal Scourge and some other bad cards.
Brainstorm, so he's digging for that last card down. It's a Ballista.
I think that'll be enough for a concession from Brian. This is where I would concede.
So if he had enough, because he doesn't have a food chain, right? Ha! Attack for 1.
He attacks for 1 at Gideon.
I'm gonna knock down that card that's totally irrelevant, and it goes to 4. Okay. There we go. We did it. Game 3.
All right. Well, while these guys are shuffling, we're gonna watch the other table shuffling.
Yeah, you were right. Well done.
I done called it.
He has at least one that's has grouped on it that's altered by Chris Rush. Yes.
Yeah, they are altered and signed by Rush.
All 4 of them.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, he got him done at GP Salt Lake. The last one.
Yeah. Rush was here.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I saw him do a Sharpie, black Sharpie, Black Lotus on a pink playmat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he sold it for like $100 or something like that. But it was like pink. If you'd picked any other color, I probably would have wanted to buy that. But it was, I don't know.
All right. Well, we've seen them shuffle. Whoa! I'm just like throwing stuff around. My bad. Here, I just meant to click on it. So these guys are going to be 1-1 since it looks like they're headed into a game 3. Either that, they're playing for fun. Either way, we're gonna tune in for a minute. Make this smaller.
It's nearly red. I don't know. There was just something about when I was there. It's like, you're doing it on a pink plate. Like, that was very specific. People would want to buy that. There's nothing against pink. You don't see a lot of pink playmats.
No, it's definitely interesting. I think they are playing for fun because it looks like they've switched their decks.
Yes. Yep.
You just love these interactive matchups of Burn versus Manalist Dredge. Oh yeah, so interactive. Yeah, this isn't a real game. But you guys can watch that while the other table shuffles. How about that?
It does look. Hey, how does your deck work? I want to try this Dredge thing out. Let's
switch me.
Let's flip this around and see how this one works. I just got creamed by Manalist Dredge. I want to know how it plays. It's actually a good way of learning how Manalist Dredge works, though.
You just throwing it, just picking it up and being like,
go,
okay, what do I do?
What can I do?
I think I'm supposed to discard this.
I can draw to 8 and then discard. All right, now we can switch back. We got opening hands.
Awesome.
And Deluge, Golgari Charm, Food Chain, Mistal Griffin.
Well, he's got the True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
Pretty dead.
Yeah, he's got an answer finally.
Yeah, 2 of them.
And it answers Noble Hierarchs too, right?
It does.
That's rude. Basic Island does not cast Golgari Charm.
Not so much.
Eternal Scourge. That's the 3/3 that Brian has a 1 of.
Yeah.
Zach is going to admire some Rebecca art. There's a Unhinged, right? The second Unglued set card that specifically talks about getting rid of certain artists or something like that on cards.
Oh yeah.
And it specifically calls out any artist except Rebecca Guay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because there was a time period where Magic thought that Rebecca's art style wasn't conducive to what they were trying to portray, and the community like backlashed, saying, "No, this is awesome. We love her art. Don't get rid of her."
Yeah.
And that's right around when Unhinged happened.
She really does have a different style than what artists are doing nowadays, but it's good that they've kept her around.
Yeah, and I think the Eternal Scourge is just a one of, but it provides that fifth card that allows you to do stuff.
Yep.
And sometimes you specifically need a card that when it gets targeted, it gets to exile instead of, oh, I can just kill your Mistral Griffin, and then you don't have a way of getting rid of it.
It's not quite better, but it is what the deck needed.
Sometimes that's what you want, yeah.
To add that consistency.
So there's the card that lets you go search for 3 cards and exile them, right? And often it's 2 Griffins and a Eternal Scourge.
Yes, and it is tutorable with the exile.
Yeah,
trip.
yeah, that's what whatever that card's called. I always forget.
Right.
If I squint, maybe it'll come to me.
Oh, Jorgensen will get it. He thinks that I think he knows everything, and obviously. That's just fact.
Very clearly obvious. All right. Zach gets a Deathrite Shaman. Seems like we've seen this before.
Almost. Second Rebecca Guay land. Still can't cast the Golgari Charm, but something gives me a feeling he's not too concerned about that.
Oh, he's got a forest in hand, so he could if he needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Is he going to...
Manipulate Fate. See? Manipulate Fate.
Yeah.
We've probably seen the card like 3-4 times on our stream.
Never didn't know it.
In the last month.
I wanted to give Jorgensen a chance to participate.
You're right. He doesn't have enough chances. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cast Eternal Scourge, and this just looks as awkward as anything could possibly look. For a card like this, just, okay, can't target it.
Yep.
Countering it seems silly.
Countering it sometimes actually makes sense, because that's the one way it ends up in the graveyard instead of exile, but it's just a 3/3.
It's a 3/3. You know what? As it turns out, a 3/3 body in Legacy is relevant.
Right? I don't think Zach's too worried about it right now.
I think that's why Leovold's so busted. It's like, hey, let's put 2 very relevant abilities on a good body in colors that are very, very playable.
Whoa. All right, we got Noble Hierarch. Ooh. So this is kind of what Brian wants. He has
Toxic Deluge.
Toxic Deluge in hand. So I think we're going to see a swing for 3 and then a Deluge to take all this out.
He wants to at very minimum play around Daze, which is why, 3 creatures is enough. I imagine he is going to try to Toxic right here. Yep, he'll pay 2 life. And this is gonna resolve, I believe. Yeah. Add a mana. Brian's feeling pretty good about this. The Eternal Scourge is still on the board, and he just took care of three creatures. 3 relevant creatures. Yeah. One of them was about to put in a Batterskull.
Right. Deluge, in the exact instance, can just be a huge swing. Yeah, Force of Will with no blue cards in hand.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good.
Yeah, I saw that he had the Force, but once he kind of fanned his hand out, I'm like, oh, that's not scary. Nice Force of Will.
Right, and that may be a sideboarding thing for this deck, where if you're sideboarding in Etherswind Canonists, if you take out blue cards, then your forces get a lot worse, but I don't know that that's necessarily what has happened. I didn't see how he sideboarded for Game 3. Abrupt Decay! Can't Abrupt Decay it! Well, you can, but you don't want to.
Yeah, and Brian has made it very, very clear that he will not lose to Wasteland this game.
Wasteland's not looking too strong right now, is
Nope, and Zach does have one. He was just about to play it, too. He's like, do I play the Wasteland? I'm like, well, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it taps for colorless mana, but I think you'd rather have the Delta.
So this is a little strange. He could have played that. Yeah, there he goes. He's like, oh, shoot, I should have played this Sword of Fire and Ice. I wasn't sure why. Like, Zach could have been representing something, but he wasn't.
See, look at this. This is exactly what I was talking about, Bryce. He plays the Eternal Scourge. Just cast it.
Yeah.
Then he just casts him his Hollow Griffin.
Right.
He goes, guys, I'm on the beatdown plan. I got this.
My deck can do this 3/3 thing, and what do you got?
Oh, I didn't update it around, did I?
Yeah, 1/1. 1-1 for these guys. This is game 3. We saw them both kind of get mana screwed for game 1 and game 2. So this is kind of the first equal game they've had where they both have a chance to actually do things.
Yeah, it's definitely back and forth. I mean, the Toxic Deluge was
yeah,
an indicator of, hey, this game is gonna end.
Typical Legacy U.
Legacy U. Ignore his his correction. All right, 5 mana. There is a Batterskull. He gets a Gurm.
Okay. Because everybody knows that when an equipment comes into play, it brings these little germ creatures along with it that can hold the equipment. And I don't get it.
I don't either. I gave up on it like the day after the set released.
Like, oh, it's a neat functional thing, and you guys couldn't figure out how to do it flavor-wise, so you just said germ and went with it. I guess they were Phyrexian, right? And the Phyrexian, like, infected things, right? So there was germs, but yeah.
Then wouldn't the equipment itself be attacking?
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right. Plan B. I have a creature. All right. Zach's down to 5 life, so he needs to do something here.
Yeah, and Deathrite's not quite going to cut it either. He can Abrupt Decay the Eternal Scourge. I mean, it will just go to exile. Brian can just recast it, but the 6th land would have been nice. Yeah, totally. Oh, okay. And he does have a Swords to Plowshares.
Which also exiles.
It does exile, but, you know, Brian still has to commit to casting these big creatures.
Right. I think he's all right with that at this point.
Yeah.
He gains 3 life. And what happens to this one, he says?
He's going to get Abrupt Decayed.
Yeah. Slowly decayed.
Abrupt.
He's thinking about it. It's abruptly.
It'll be abrupt once it happens.
Yeah, it was really quick, really fast. I couldn't even see it happen.
Like, did you blink?
Yeah, I held my breath and it was gone. Brian gets to decide what to do here now. He's gonna hold a skull that batters things. I like it. All right, so Brian gets to represent a lot.
Yeah.
Next turn. Ooh.
And by a lot, you mean just the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, if you're Zach, seeing the food chain come down onto the board, are you just... And then you draw a Pithing Needle, right?
Yeah.
You're just naming Ballista?
Yeah. I guess.
You can't name... Well, I mean, you can name food chain, but it doesn't do anything.
You can equip with your Batterskull, though, and swing for some damage. You can gain 5 life. If he's got Ballista in hand, he wins.
Yeah, I don't know if Brian has Ballista. I haven't really gotten a good look.
Nitro! Hello, sir.
Hey, welcome in, Nitro.
And there it is. The Pithing Needle.
That's the one.
Right.
Right, and that's what exactly my thought, Jorgensen, is that why else would, because he could have just casted the Missile Griffin.
Yeah.
Why play Food Chain unless you can actually just go off with it? What have you missed? Well, this is game 3 of round 1. So the first game Brian was able to put together and Zach didn't have lands. Mm-hmm. And then the next game was basically exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first game where they both get to do things.
They definitely get to do things. But
Zach was a little slower.
So Brian has infinite mana now.
Yep. He's going to do that thing where he gets to exile and...
Infinite mana. Get
as much mana as he wants.
Continues to play...
It looks like he does have the ballista in hand.
So he has to play an infinitely large ballista. However big he wants it to be. Which is scary because, it can just attack for the win, but at the same time, at least the Pithing Needle is keeping it from just killing him this turn.
Yep. 738... Oh. 369 million.
Okay. That's
large. It's not infinitely large.
You know what I love? We can actually see the number.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't tell you how many times we've seen somebody write on a piece of paper a note for us to see, and we're like, yeah, we got nothing,
And I also love that he completely covered up the ballista with it, right? It's no longer there.
It's a big guy.
You better kill that Deathrite.
Yeah, definitely ballista. And that's what I mentioned that before as well, as I was like, I can't really imagine any other cartoon name other than ballista. When he drew it, I would have kind of jumped for joy after Brian just took his whole turn to cast Food Chain. He didn't kill the Deathrite, but... Yeah, he should have sacked the Deathrite for mana, huh? It's not too late. He can still do that.
Yep. Well, he wouldn't have been able to put it out untapped, is what Kenneth's saying, right? He used all 369 million of his mana for that ballista. He didn't have one left over for the Deathrite.
No.
He would have had to type out a whole bunch of 9s. It would have been awkward.
It's just really awkward for him.
I like how he had some ridiculously large number and he deleted it to say he had 7450000 and he changed it to 369.
369. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That number was too obnoxious.
Oh, right. It's XX. He had to divide it in half. That's silly. All right. We have an equipped Deathrite.
Oh, you were talking about Zach's Deathrite. Okay.
And a swing for... So if he attacks with the ballista, Zach can block and gain some life, and he's still alive. If he just attacks with the Griffin...
He goes to 2.
Yeah.
I think I'd want the creature dead. I don't mind that he gains some life, especially I would just want his board as clear as possible. If you attack with the Griffin, you put him down to 2, and then he has a swords for the next attack, or top decks another land, then it's just kind of getting obnoxious. It's let's just end this game.
No, he wants to keep playing.
All right.
Oh, he has a Deathrite Shaman that can finish that off.
That pesky little Deathrite Shaman.
Obviously, the game winner. The all-star of the game.
Did Zach not have any mana to hit the card? I thought he did. That's the only reason I counted Deathrite out.
Best card in Magic.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman's amazing.
There it is.
Oh no, Jorgensen's talking about Miss Griffin. Sorry. For a sec, I thought you were talking about Deathrite Shaman.
I don't know. There was a really large walking ballista. That's got to be worth something, right? Got to be a $3 card.
Any time you have to bust out your calculator for a card, is it really a good card?
I don't know. I mean, what's silly is he could have said 10 there, and it would have been enough, right? Right. You can't kill it.
I am so sorry, Jorgensen. I really thought you were talking about the Miss Griffin.
All right, so Brian gets that 2-1, and I have no idea how much time we have left in our.
No idea.
Let's see if we can find out.
I think we started pretty close, I don't know, maybe 7:15ish.
Did somebody give us an actual?
Maybe.
Nope.
Nope.
Blink. That's a blink thing.
That is a blink thing.
The ultimate math card. I think there's more math-intensive Magic than what Brian just had to do.
Yeah. I think there is.
When people are trying to figure out their life totals in Storm and counting their cards left in their library and things like that. Versus, I picked a really large number.
What? Zach has a Mewtwo in his sideboard.
Yeah. Sometimes you need one of those.
I hear those are really powerful.
I guess. I mean, it's legendary, right? So you can only have one of them at a time.
Well, it was a clone of a legendary. Can't you just make more clones?
I don't know.
All right, let's come back to our beautiful faces for a moment.
There we are.
Like Bryce is
Still
finding
off screen.
Off screen. There's like plenty of room to scoot in, but he's like, nope, I want to be right on the edge.
And uses
right
a boring germ token.
Right here.
So earlier today, you played Standard.
I did.
On Magic Online.
I did.
And why Standard instead of Legacy?
It actually has to do with me not being competent with Moto. I jumped. So Paragon City built 2 accounts, one specifically for Legacy and Vintage, and then the other for Draft and Standard. And we wanted to fire off a test stream today. So Patrick and I played some Standard. We lost.
You went like 1 and 3 or 2 and 3.
I went 2 and 3.
2 and 3. That's not losing.
I went 2 and 3. I didn't. I pushed all my rounds to a third game that I lost. I'm like, but why Standard? It's because it's a little easier to like play. There aren't a lot of complicated interactions.
Okay.
And I have a feeling that if it were just me sitting down on Moto doing Legacy, I feel like I would make a lot of mistakes, which I'm gonna get better at it. I plan to start doing morning streams 2 to 3 times a week.
Cool.
And then Brian's gonna be doing Legacy and Vintage, and then Patrick's gonna be doing a lot of Standard.
Right on.
So we're gonna have day streams all the time, and us employees we want to get more content out. So
just play Approach, draw all the cards. Is that how you play Standard? Is that what you do?
See, I can't bring myself to play Approach. I mean, we'll definitely be brewing some Standard decks because I feel like I'm gonna have more fun brewing with Standard than like playing competitively. Because Standard's just.
Is there such a thing as a Momir deck? Isn't that like you just?
We do not have a Momir deck built, but I'm pretty sure we have everything we need.
Don't you just play basic lands? Isn't
that
okay?
Basic lands. Yeah. But you know what the most exciting thing about this though? Every time a cube jumps on Moto, you guys can pretty much just count on me constantly being here or at the house I'm about to move into. I'm just gonna be there cubing and showing you guys cube.
It'll be fun.
And
you gotta have
I'm
the
super excited.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Yeah, we do.
Look at the match table for Streamception. I have no idea what Brian means there.
Let's find out.
Uh-oh. Streamception.
All right, guys, let's see some Streamception.
What is happening?
Well, we're gonna get some serious delay, right?
So we can wave, and then in about 10 more seconds, you'll see us wave again.
Probably longer. Oh my goodness!
This might be the weirdest thing that's ever happened on stream, right here.
Yeah, that's a ton of delay, isn't it?
And
Zach starts watching. He's got a commercial on.
Okay, well, if you've ever wanted to watch 2 streams at once, we're currently watching 3 at once.
Yeah, just tune in. You can watch our stream watching our stream.
Yeah.
That's watching our stream and our stream.
This is the quality entertainment that Paragon City brings to you.
Oh yeah, Zach isn't a sub. What a traitor. Mm. I hope he hears us call him that. I hope he does.
Well, you're only a traitor if you sub to something else.
Let's
right?
continue to watch. Let's see if he hears. Do you think he will? He just might.
We should ask each player as they play, do you want to be on stream? And are you a sub?
Oh, I think he's about to tell us something.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. All right.
I play Legacy. I'm cheap.
Swarming Dirt, how does that make you cheap? I'm curious.
Is Legacy's pretty affordable on MTGO, right?
Yeah, on MTGO it's pretty okay. I mean, Force of Wills are still expensive. There are a couple other cards that are really bad, but oh, HC Fox. I just barely saw your post.
It's extremely
odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll have to use that one
Good
more
one.
often. Oh! Because he plays Legacy, because Swarming Dirt is Zach. That's why he... So
that makes more sense.
But everybody has Amazon Prime, right?
Right.
Like, that's a thing that people just have.
Who doesn't want stuff shipped to their door?
In 2 days. I mean, if you're going to order it, it's going to be there in 2 days.
And not only can you get stuff ordered to you in 2 days, but you get a free Twitch sub.
Yeah, and then you don't have to watch ads. It's worth it.
Right. And then you support your favorite stream, which is us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. He says, nope. I go to the store and I buy stuff. I don't have anything shipped to my house. Same day in some places. Yeah, it's not same day here.
Not here, no.
It's 2 days. Even though there's a ginormous distribution center, like, within walking distance.
Yeah, like really close. Within walking distance.
Probably. I don't know where it is.
Hey, man, we can just head right on over after this.
Just walk up and down some warehouse. Hey, look, there's boxes and things on the walls.
You just had a rack mount chassis. I honestly don't know how to say that word. I've seen it a million times. Shipped to you for free. Jeez, Amazon's awesome. All right, we have people sitting down. Fantastic.
Round 2.
And the rack is on the way? Yes, the rack. Chassis, thank you.
We're gonna round 2 with some players, hopefully.
If we're lucky.
When Ixalan happened, the relevant Legacy playsets cost less than 50 altogether. See, Legacy is cheaper than Standard.
In a way, like once you have the staples in Legacy,
yeah,
there's no rotation, so you don't have to keep up with the format.
Right.
I actually think that is true. Playing Legacy online is cheaper.
Modern was that way until they started banning cards and your deck getting, like, the fact that you had birthing pods and then suddenly they were worthless.
Right.
So you couldn't just exchange them for something else.
And honestly, Modern is probably one of the biggest reasons a lot of the cards are so expensive. Like, Liliana's right now are barely less than what they are in paper. They're like over $60 in for a virtual card.
And that has to do with supply, right?
It does. Because we were, like, people have watched me on stream here. I play Jund. So when Brian and I were talking about, okay, what kind of things do we need for our Moto account, what decks do we want to be able to play or brew with, blah blah blah.
Do we know? We don't know.
Oh,
we do know.
We do know. So this looks like Shay. This is Shay.
Oh yeah, exploration is pricey on Magic Online.
He's probably on Storm.
So MTGO.
Yeah.
Is what Jorgensen just said, right? We've been saying Moto. Do you know what Moto stands for? It's a thing that people call it, right?
Yeah.
I know the answer to this. You don't know? You know?
Maybe not.
It's Magic Online with digital objects.
Digital objects?
Yep. That's what MODO stands for.
Interesting.
It's what it got called. Really, initially, it was an idea, and then since then, they don't brand it that anymore. You never see that. It's just what people keep calling it. Yeah, Jorgensen knows the answer.
I think we're gonna start here. The other match happens to be Manaless Dredge versus Storm. As much as I want to watch that match, I don't think that would be the most interesting one to watch.
So this is Daniel versus Justin.
Yeah, let me get that in.
And
do we know who is who?
I don't. We'll find out.
If we have to go ask him, we will. Guaranteed I'm going to get these names wrong. He's going to go ask him and be like, hey, so which one of you is which? He's going to come back and he's like, oh, yep, you got it wrong. If we had a Goblins player, that'd be sweet. I want to say we have somebody in the store who owns all the stuff for it. I think he's played it here before, but I'm not entirely sure. If I can't even think of somebody who's played it in like the last couple months. Dredge versus Storm is more interesting than 4-color Deathrite? I hate to disagree, but Storm isn't all that interesting to watch. Oh, Bryce, close the door.
Sorry. I meant to slightly close the door.
Not close it all the way.
All right. Daniel.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And Justin.
All right. I'll just switch these.
And we're going to have some more interestingness here, right?
Ravaz Jr., how's it going?
Justin, I'm pretty sure, is on Dredge.
Dredge.
And I think Justin's on Storm. But it's not Manaless Dredge.
Well, this is Dredge, right? Justin's on?
Justin's on Dredge.
Okay.
And Danny's, I believe, playing Storm.
We have two.
Yeah.
So we have two Storm versus Dredge matchups on our table.
Next to each other, yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, we got it. Sigmanagari, that's what you wanted, right? It's everything you asked for. You're like, this seems way more interesting. And look what we got.
Totally should put a keypad. Just one person doesn't know the code.
I know the code. Bryce isn't an employee of the shop, so he doesn't get his own.
We should. I don't know. Storm versus Dredge, and you're picking Storm versus Dredge, huh?
Yeah.
This way we get to see lands played on both sides of the table, though. Right.
Right.
Because the other one doesn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe the Manaless Dredge is a little more interesting to talk about. I don't know. I'm trying to from a commentary perspective. It's hard to say exactly.
Danny, I think, is playing with some newly altered cards though that I'm pretty sure if we get a chance to see, we should probably stay right here until game 5, unless we've seen it.
HC Fox wants to see it versus Manaless.
Oh, okay. We can switch.
All right, let's see what's going on. Watch, it's gonna be over.
All right, Shay's on Storm, on your right. June is playing the Manaless Dredge, which means he won the last round.
Yeah, he beat Burn.
And Shay definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to both competent Storm players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with his Dredge list that we saw on the last table.
I haven't seen so much Dredge in this store. I thought we only had like one Dredge player, and now we've got multiple. Crazy.
So go ahead and bring up a Bridge from Below, since it's already in his graveyard. He's got 2 of them out there. And oh, look what you just did the thing. That's great.
If chat knew what happened every time we try to get a card up here, they probably would have felt the same way.
All right. Shay goes and Infernal Tutors for a Dark Ritual, so he reveals 1 from his hand, gets another one. He's using the normal, not very often used part of Infernal Tutor, which when you're not hellbent, you have to find something that's already in your hand. Okay, so this is what June has 2 of in his graveyard, right? And it's
very important to the strategy, as is this little Narcomoeba. Yeah, so whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, you get a 2/2 zombie. So this gets to work with all the cards that come in off the graveyard, and then you get to use Dread Return.
Cabal Therapy being the first one.
Cabal Therapy.
And then Dread Return, yeah.
And then Dread Return to you. They have flashback effects that the cost is sacrificing a creature.
And so June is organizing his graveyard here. So in Legacy, you're not supposed to do it like this, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's stacking it inappropriately or if he was doing it because those were already all in his graveyard. And the reason why is because of Neither Spirit, because it cares its graveyard order.
Yeah.
In Modern, you can rearrange your graveyard. In Standard, you can rearrange your graveyard all you want. But in Legacy, you're actually not supposed to, and it's because of this specific card. There's like 2 cards in the entire game of Magic that care about graveyard order.
But when you have a card that does, you need to keep it straight. I think they're just trying to remember the way he had it, which is unfortunate because June needs to be remembering.
So here's how he gets a creature from play into this graveyard, which triggers 2 Bridge from Blows. And he gets to name Dark Ritual, which Shay has. And Shay goes, sad. That's not very nice.
Not so much.
Yeah, you do, but he already had those cards in his graveyard, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he was moving his graveyard to be sprawled out along the bottom, and when he did, he just kind of like moved it all. I'm not sure.
No, I think he just missed a prized trigger, right? Where prize should have come back just there.
Because of the Narcomoeba?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, okay, there's a lot going on Manaless Dredge and Dredge in general, but that's kind of like how the deck works, right? There's only so many triggers that you need to be aware of. When your opponent sitting across the table and it's like, oh, yeah, he missed that trigger. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why the deck works. And probably shouldn't be missing. But I don't know June. He might be new to this deck.
Right.
Which, more power to him if he's figuring it out on the play here. All right. Shay's going to discard his hand, cast Lion's Eye Diamond, flash back, Past in Flames.
And he's going to try real hard to go off. Look at his little storm counter.
That is a counter right there.
That's pretty cool. I like it. All right, so he's got Storm 2. He's going to Dark Ritual, and then Dark Ritual again.
Mm-hmm. He gets to play Probe first.
Okay. Probe, draw, Storm count up.
And he untaps his Underground because he didn't actually start with
the
Dark Ritual. Yeah. All right, now we're going to need Dark Ritual. Because at the moment, she has no mana.
Puts all the effort into a nice one. Yeah, we have all the dice out there for them. You guys have seen them.
All right, so instead of Dark Reading, Shade tries to Brainstorm. He sees that he can't quite do it with just a Dark Ritual. That's not going to get it there.
He'll pack it up.
And so he brainstorms to try and find, I think probably Lotus Petal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't see it. So he says, let's go to game 2.
We should look at having a sign made. Just
Use
on, right there.
Dice.
Like, see these dice? These dice are here for our viewers' convenience. Please use.
See them. Until Brian puts out
Sponsored
one of
by
those huge
Jiffy Lube.
ones that completely covers up a card. Right? All right, let's flip back over to our other Storm versus Dredge, and let's see if we can see what's happening there. Ha-ha! Shoveling, sideboarding. Strange, they finished about the same time.
Every time, without fail.
So, Moto. Magic Online. You're playing Standard.
Okay.
And you're talking to the chat.
Mm-hmm.
How was learning all of the clicking and stuff while also interacting with chat and your time, your clock?
Well, I never ran out of time. I do think that is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think I was under 5 minutes in most of my matches. By the time they all went to game 3.
Yeah.
And
so it was close.
It was close, and it wasn't easy to do.
Have you started using F keys?
In the past, I've only used F keys, but at the same time, the reason I didn't use F keys today is because the whole point was to not make mistakes. I wanted to play well, which, I mean, of course, I still made all kinds of mistakes because here I am talking to Patrick, talking to chat, using Moto, which is a client that I'm not used to using.
Right.
And yeah, I made some minor mistakes. I think there was one that I probably could have lived like another 2 turns at minimum, but I'm not too upset about it.
Just tap F during your bonus turn. It's way quicker. Standard can be slow right now. Games can drag out.
Yeah,
for sure. And certainly, there's quite a few control decks out there, and there's weird, hostage taking your hostage taker, which takes a hostage, and then there's a blue black god, which takes this card, and it's just a lot of back and forth, which can take time, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was difficult, but I think as far as a 2-3 record goes, I couldn't have been a whole lot more happy because I never lost a time. I felt like I played pretty well overall, and it was unfortunate that a lot of my game 3s I actually lost with like 3 or 4 lands in my hand, which there's not a lot you can do about that.
Part of Magic.
It is. It's just unfortunate when it happens multiple times in one league. But we lost to Jim Davis. I played against him in round 2. He was playing a dinosaur build.
But your game 3 was unwinnable, right? That was the one that you...
Yeah, we actually both had a really, really good hand, but I never found... I want to say I never found my 4th or 5th land. Yeah.
And so he just
so he just
got 2 planeswalkers on you.
Yeah. It was
and
like
you're going,
Chandra
well,
and
if I had
Nebraska.
you had multiple dragons in hand, and you're just going, come on, just give me a chance. I just want to play 1 card.
Yeah, not a lot I could have done, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm excited to stream more, and I'm much more excited about streaming Legacy. I have a lot that I want to do, and a lot that I want to brew with and mess with. So.
All right. We're doing this one. We'll switch back to Manaless. Right?
Okay. Yeah, let's do Manaless.
What the people want to see, or at least what the one person wanted to see.
Yeah. I think two people wanted the Manaless. The Manaless Dredge is so interesting.
All right. We're looking at openers. Okay, so Manaless Dredge, usually the correct play is to keep 7 and draw, and then discard due to hand size.
Yep.
Which is kind of weird if you haven't played against Manaless Dredge before. If you're on the play, if you get to choose, so sometimes the hand just doesn't work, right?
Yeah, it really didn't.
Usually you want to say, instead of go first, you want to actually draw first, because what you do is you actually net yourself a card that way.
Mm-hmm.
If your opponent is going to just draw and then pass anyway.
Yeah, this mulligan has got to feel really, really good for Shay. He's like, okay, so now my opponent's on 6 cards, and he has to draw 2 cards to get to 8 to discard.
Yeah, right.
Not what he wants to see. And then here's Jun. Look at he's gonna scry, but one of the cards is an Narcomy bit.
Not really.
You can't even guess that.
All right, so let's see if Shay can, with a little bit of a window cushion that he knows he has.
Mm-hmm. Yep, June draws to 7, and I imagine he'll do a whole lot of nothing. Oh, yep. Shay's got a brainstorm.
Land tendrils. Probably not really what he wanted, but it'll work. Make it work. One's a fetch land, so he can choose to get rid of some stuff. Yeah, he's going to get rid of that Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need that.
where is he going to go from here? Okay. It's a tropical. You know, in these storm decks, they're not the kind of deck that you want to give them like a free 2 turns to just sit there and set up.
Right.
Because these decks win all the time without that extra time setting up.
What is the green in green? Shay is playing, and I don't know why he's taking Trop here. He plays a Xanthid Swarm main deck. That's where his green is coming from. Mm-hmm. It looks like he has it in hand, but I'm not sure why he's kept that in versus Manaless Dredge.
Yeah. Sigmonogari, yeah, that's what's so interesting is that a lot of decks, especially in our current meta, we've had like multiple Reanimator decks here. You know, they're not decks that we see every week, but people have been putting ley lines in their sideboard because there's like 1 Dredge player, like 2 Reanimator players, and like 2 Lands players. As it turns out, if you can just shut off their graveyard, these are decks that all just kind of fall. Lands doesn't just die without their graveyard, but even then they have a really hard time because it shuts down Loam. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I have 4 ley line and 2 surgical extraction in my sideboard from this meta.
All right, we're gonna see. Sure enough, Shay does have a Xanthid Swarm in his hand, but he chose not to play it. I guess it's better as a storm count.
Maybe
at this point.
Are you sure he doesn't want to attack him for 0? make sure June is. Yeah, I mean, it is great. Like being able to handle these graveyard strategies is really important, but at the same time, these graveyard strategies are so interesting.
Yeah,
they're really interesting decks to play.
And you got to do something different in Legacy.
The first time I played against a Manaless Dredge deck, I had not seen it before. I was playing Punishing Junt, and so my opponent elects to draw, and I'm going. My opponent clearly doesn't know how to play Legacy. You know, that's honestly what my mind was thinking. And then I go Deathrite Shaman on turn 1, and my opponent goes, okay, you know, draw my card, discard. And I took one good look at it and went, that's a Dredge card. I'm gonna just eat that with Deathrite Shaman. And I ended up winning super easily, but that's like all it took.
Deathrite on 1. Yeah, and you're not even like prepared for
I wasn't prepared
for it. You just have a card that can interact with his deck. All right, Shay's Infernal Tutoring. So the card June played, I don't remember the name of it. It's what he discarded to hand size.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember.
He can get that back to his hand by discarding, I believe, 3 cards.
Yeah,
which is how.
Hey, Jorgensen or HC Fox, what is the card that when it's in your graveyard you can discard 3 cards, or is it 3 creatures, or I can't remember. You're discarding 3 cards to return it to your hand. Do you guys mind telling us the name? Thank you. Appreciate it, HC Fox.
Yes. Yes, we do have some Turbo Depths players here occasionally. I'm not sure if there's any today. And there's been some Depths.
You're so right, dude. That's what happens.
Some Depths Reanimator, the new kind of mesh of deck builds as well. A couple people are playing that. Something kind of fun to. So you're not on just one thing, where you're playing Dark Depths and you're playing Reanimator in the same deck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So it's that second ability where it allows him to discard 3 cards to return it to his hand, which the idea there is that you're discarding a card with Dredge, right? And that way you can start dredging.
Yeah, Sigmonogari, we do have one player who plays Turbo Depths, and then as Patty BMTG just barely piped in, he's playing a Reanimator Depths build, which has the same strategy, but it also has a Reanimator package as well. So we do have those decks in our store.
All right, we got some counting. So Shay's keeping track of his mana and his storm count. Storm count's at 4. He's got 2 black. You got you.
Patrick, you don't have to answer him. Yeah, this is kind of what we expected, right? Two turns of Shay being able to set up is going to be plenty for him to storm off. And maybe it looks like he can go off. I think he can.
I think he's got it. He already has the tendrils in hand. He's got a Lotus Petal in hand, so he can Cabal Ritual, get some more manas. And he's got 5 mana now. Storm count 5. Infernal Tutors for that Lotus Petal, just ratcheting up the storm count here. It's pretty simple. So, sometimes Storm, it's a little bit harder, right? You need to figure out a way to discard your hand so you can Infernal Tutor for your for your win con. Shay doesn't have to do that here. He just he already has it in hand, so it's just a matter of ticking up that storm counter.
Tutub, yes, this is burn, and HC Fox answered that for you. It's black burn. You just cast tendrils and then you burn them for 20.
There it is. So Xanthid Swarm coming in as the all-star. The crucial 9th storm counter. Obviously, never didn't have it.
Never didn't have it. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! We actually can look at our other match. This is amazing.
All right, we're on turn 1.
He's going off.
And Daniel is making it happen here. All right. So he had the Lion's Eye Diamond.
No, this is Tess, right? Or is this?
Yeah, he's playing Burning Wish, right?
Yeah, the Burning Wish version. Mm-hmm.
So a little bit different storm. Storm counts at 5. So he's exiled the Ponder to the Chrome Mox, and he's going to get empty the Warrens. So he's going to make 10 dudes because he's got enough mana to do it.
I love it when people use the dice that we can see the numbers. Can you guys see those numbers okay? I personally can. Those are numbers that I can see.
He gets 12 dudes. 12 on ones.
Yeah, both Storm and Dredge. Both of our matches are Storm and Dredge.
So this is pretty crazy, right? He had Ponder, so he was able to draw a card, right? Mm-hmm. And that helped him get there, obviously. But Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor, Chrome Mox, Land is all you need to turn 1 make 12 1/1s.
Yeah.
And
now, you know what's so funny though? He's showing the altar, the Burning Wish altar. Look at that sitting at the top.
Yeah, just showing it off for us.
Yeah.
Good thing we came in when we did.
It is very pretty, and his opponent is admiring it. See, we get a good look at it. One of our very own does these altars. Super pretty.
Wait, I need to shake
Shakes his hand. Yeah, so Bryce right here, he did this altar on. You did 4 for him, right?
Set. So this actually somebody on our chat got a hold of me finally.
Yeah, it was Meal Solutions.
Meal Solutions.
We haven't seen him in a while, though.
Yeah, he hasn't been around. I don't know what happened to him. So I have started doing some storm cards for him, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, do you mind if?" Because sometimes when you want an altar, you want it to be very unique, right? You want to be the only one to have it. I said, "Hey, I got somebody here that might want some of these cool-looking cards too," and he was totally cool with that. So
he's like, "Yeah." He's just like, "I just wanted the cool altar." All right, let's get back.
So eventually, I'll set up a Facebook page or something where I can actually show some of these off, and
that'd be awesome.
If you guys want a felt altar,
a felt altar.
That's
past tense.
That's what they'll be called. When your last name is Felt, and that's what you gotta go with.
Yep.
All right, game 3 of Manaless versus Storm.
So I'm gonna bet you that Shay's gonna go first.
Yes, that's how it should go down.
Mm-hmm.
And Shay probably doesn't really mind that. He probably is fine with going first, right?
It is good for both players that Shay's going first.
We have a fifth hand coming in to check out some things over here. Danny, who's sitting next to him, saying, "Ooh, look at that."
Yeah, it's true. One side of the table was the Storm players, and the other side was the Dredge players.
All right, so looking at your opening hands is different for both of these decks too, right? Like normally when you play Magic, you want to see a certain number of lands, a certain number of low-cost cards, and an ability to actually play Magic, right? Mm-hmm. Both of these decks, when you look at them, you're looking at a very different type of how is my turn going to sequence exactly, and can this function or does it dirtle?
Was that Danny Spence was the other player? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Jarlo.
Just want to point out that he discarded 7 cards to make a Dreadnought. yeah.
In 12 pieces.
Exactly. That's what it was. He was playing Fire Exchange Dreadnought.
Very good point, HC Fox. Thank you.
Right. Except they were goblins.
Oh, yeah. I always forget about that.
Right. But pretty much the same thing. And he had to use, like, all of his cards to do it. Mm-hmm. Dreadnought, you just play Dreadnought and stifle it.
Reminds me of my lands matchup when on Saturday there was a win-a-box here for Legacy, and in my second round, or no, it was round 3. My opponent playing lands, he mulligans to 5, and then he just sits there, looks at his hand for a second, he goes, "Okay," and he just puts all 5 of the cards down on the board, and I just went, "Well, that's what you have. I know what I need to beat now." These decks are always funny.
We get to see what Shay has. Ooh, he's got a foil Burning Wish.
Strictly less pretty than the ones we saw on the other table.
I could actually alter a foil Burning Wish and it would look pretty cool.
Something gives me a feeling he's okay with the one he has, but unfortunately. Don't want to knock on Shay's taste too much.
Yeah, I mean, all of his Storm is foiled out, so those Mercadian Mass Dark Rituals are not exactly cheap.
No. I imagine the Brainstorms aren't either.
And Ponder's gotten stupid too, so
really
they spiked up, doubled in value overnight.
I was so glad that I got the one that I got for my cube when I did. I think I got it for like $20, my foil Ponder, and now they're like...
Captain QC! Hello, sir.
Hey, welcome in. Just catching the end of round 2, Captain QC.
We've got some Manaless Dredge versus Storm, and June is top. He's acting like he's looking for a specific card off the top here. Icrid. It's a creature.
Yeah, it's something that he will be able to put into play this next turn, but the rest of... that was an underwhelming turn 1.
Considering how many cards he saw.
Yeah.
When you're drawing 3 cards. And he discards the Icrid due to hand size.
Right.
I love how Shay, he plays this way. Certain players just play this way, right? Here he's got this foiled out Storm deck. It's probably worth 4 times what my deck's worth. And yet he has this tendency to kind of toss his cards around as if they're nothing. That's how when he's doing it, that's what he does.
Sometimes you just got to hit him for 3.
Right? Yeah.
All right, do all this on turn 1.
I don't think Storm really cares.
The result, or we're just going to hit him for 3.
I'm going to tag you for 3. Okay, so okay. I'm on a sort of a clock here. I'm all right with that.
I guess.
No, having a creature in play can matter, right? Bridge from below. If he gets a Cabal Therapy in the graveyard, then it's more than just a 3-power creature.
It's a step in the right direction, but the issue with this start for June is it's not powerful enough.
Right.
Shay is playing a deck that's very linear. It can consistently kill on turn 3, or earlier. As soon as turn 1.
Normally, the only reason it can't is if you have a Force of Will or some other counter magic.
Right.
And June doesn't have that.
Right. And with that said, like the start from June, it's just very underwhelming. Against a grindier deck, it would probably look fine. Like, okay, let's get this engine going. But Shay's like, oh, a 3-1, nice.
So Icrid heads to the graveyard. Do you want to pull up Icrid real quick so we can see this guy?
He's a weird one.
I mean, he hit for 3, right? And then he goes back.
Doing this the right way. Hey, look, we've pulled this up before.
Yeah.
We're going manual. Switch to manual mode.
We are live streaming with a really nice webcam. More than just a...
3 really nice webcams.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent setup here. A nice microphone in here so you guys can actually hear us as we talk. We've got some HD cams, 1 in here, 2 over the tables.
We also have professional lighting for the studio as well. This is a podcast studio. So the store that we run out of is Paragon City Games, and they are an entertainment company that we support a lot of Magic the Gathering, but we also people come in and use our podcast studio and rent it out. So we do our own streams many times a week, and then when we're not doing streams, we have groups come in and run podcasts out of it.
So there's some MTG judge classes that are available through the Twitch or videos or on YouTube, and you can see people in the room and somebody giving the class as well.
Yeah.
As an example, right? But there's other uses as well. All right, so you can see Icrid had haste. It attacked for 3, and then it died. You have to sacrifice it at the end step.
Right, and that's a good thing in this deck.
Yeah. All right, Shay gets to put out 2 LEDs, and he gets to crack both of them. Discard his hand, and one of those things is a Past in Flames that he gets to cast. And we're counting. We're storm counting.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a hunch, but I think he can go off here.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think he's got this. He's got some rituals. He's going to cast them all. He's got
a remaining red mana.
A Burning Wish for Tendrils.
And... Ooh. Oh! He gives him a 5.
It was either a 5 or a smack to the face, one or the other.
We can hear it. We can hear it through. We can hear all the people laughing just right outside the
Mind Break
studio.
Trap says exile all spells.
Yeah, it's another one we can pull up. Let's do that.
And you get to cast it for 0 if.
I feel like we've done this before. All right.
Shay definitely cast more than 3 spells since his storm count was up to 10. And they're exiled, right? Exile any number of target spells. So, yeah, Tendrils gets exiled as well.
Yeah, so he casts Tendrils, and there's 10 different Tendrils on the stack. And Mind Break Trap just says, oh, you've cast all these cards. For 0 mana, I'm going to exile all of those spells.
Yeah, just all of them.
Just every single one.
Yes. Sigman. Nate plays here.
Yes.
He's on several of our past broadcasts. He's often brewing some Legacy and trying different things out.
He plays at this store. And then Nate is also one of the guys who came in and did the Pirates stream. I don't know if you heard anything about the whole Pirates dealio, but this store, one of our owners, Brian Anderson, and Nate sat down and brewed up that pirate deck, and they did a full pirate stream.
Right.
And
it was a good
next
time.
thing you know, it was all over Reddit, and podcasts were talking about it, and yeah, this is where that happened. It was pretty fantastic.
You never go full pirate. It was pretty piratey. Yeah, you guys should definitely check out Eternal Turtles. It's a good time. There's some really interesting stuff, especially if you're into some kind of brewing and different stuff in Legacy. A little bit of a different take. Yeah, so it wasn't just started here. Nate has a group of people that kind of brew decks, right? And so they were discussing it, and they sent it to some other people, and other people were also doing it simultaneously. So it's not like it was entirely just from this store, but
no,
yes.
but it was this store's stream that made it kind of blow up in a weird way.
Yeah, we had a few hundred people at one point trying to see what would a pirate stomping list look like, and it was being brewed while it was being streamed. Nobody had nobody had any idea of how it was actually a solid list that was totally already solved, right? It was a work in progress. But they went 4-1 with it once, and
well, Wubla, this is what you missed. Shay went off and cast Tendrils for a lot, and our Manaless Dredge player casted a Mindbreak Trap. And then Shay reached across the table and gave June a high five. And the game continues. That is what the laughter was from.
Right. Yeah, he still hasn't found a dredge card.
Nope.
Having a bridge from below, though, will change things a little bit here.
But Shay's at 1, right?
Yeah. I think. All right, he's going to Dread Return.
Get some zombies.
Yeah, right? And I don't know if Shay can do anything here. He went off when he was supposed to go off, and there was a card that could do something about it. And June had it.
Yep, so he finds the Spy, right? And he gets to turn his whole deck over.
All right, so he's going to exile Tendrils, even though that should already be exiled. I'd go and interrupt him, but I don't think it matters.
Then we sacrifice it to Cabal Therapy.
He's got another one in hand.
Gets a bunch more zombies. Wow, and that clutch Mindbreak Trap. Goodness gracious! If any of you were wondering if that was a trap, it was a trap.
He broke his mind.
Shay activated June's trap card.
So every time that he sacrifices a creature, he gets to make a whole bunch of zombies, right? Because of Bridge from Below. And then now he's found one that gives haste.
Yep. This is actually a flare, so whenever a creature comes back from the graveyard, it deals
the damage
directly to his face.
Which is more than one.
Just needs to be one.
Yeah. The other Dredge deck plays gives him haste, right? The non-manaless version. All right.
Did you miss the memo? You must have missed the memo, Captain QC.
Let's switch over. I kind of doubt we have Storm Dredge still being played. But
was it? I thought that one already ended. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
It ended. It's over. You're right.
It happens.
Right. Empty the Warrens. Emptied in our other Storm versus Dredge deck matchup.
So Storm beat the Dredge deck, and then Manaless Dredge beat the Storm deck.
Well, Mindbreak Trap specifically beat the Dredge, the Storm deck.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the rest of his deck had any real function there.
and when you look at the Manaless Dredge sideboard, it has room for Mindbreak Trap. A lot of decks don't find a lot of room for it, but you can't use cards that cost mana. So you have things like Leyline, you have things like Mindbreak Trap, Fairy Macabre.
There's also a lot of cards that you wish you could sideboard in, and you just can't.
You can't.
Them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Manaless Dredge is really limited on what kind of cards it can bring in from a sideboard.
Well, awesome. That was a really
Admiral Akbar altar on a Mindbreak Trap, please. It's too cliche.
Way too cliche. All right, and we were given a start time. Our start time was pretty much 8 o'clock on the dot, which means we have another 10 minutes to kill.
10 minutes?
Something gives me a feeling that you have things that you want to talk about.
Usually there's things to talk about. I am not prepared.
You're not prepared today?
Not set up prepared.
Perhaps not.
Let's see, because it's Tuesday, and this is not where I wanted to be.
Close.
Which means a few days ago we had...
So, yep, one might even say that.
We have sometimes Stompy players, Blue Moon Stompy players, or other big red players. I don't know if we have any of that today.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. We
pulling this up?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
We'll see what it looks like here. We have a deck list. This is pretty close. This is on Goldfish again.
Okay.
It's a nice way to visually view Legacy decks. He's got a little write-up on what we were just discussing. The Pirate Stompy list that was being brewed and messed around with by a couple of people that turned out to be lackluster, I guess, in that it's not some Legacy totally dominating the meta, but it did affect prices. Richard and Footpad and Brigade shot up from nothing to 20, 30 bucks each. And because people were quickly snapping them up, and there's not a lot of them for sale, right? People just have them sitting in a box. The prices would have come down quickly. This one is a little different. This one plays. We tried Hostage Taker out eventually. We eventually decided Brigade was not really where you wanted to be, and it's really a Chalice deck. So I think we were playing a full 4 City of Traders.
Yes.
And then the reason this deck works at all, the reason it was a thing, is because of the printing of Siren's Ruse, right? Where you can quickly put out a cut purse or a footpad, hopefully getting them into a place where they can't pay for the tithe, the tax, right? And so they have to sacrifice something. And then you get to Siren's Ruse and flash the thing, make them sacrifice another thing, and you get to draw a card. When it works, it's pretty cool. When it doesn't, you kind of just have these little 1/1s that
3 mana 1/1
suck.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I love about this list though? 3 Deadeye Quartermaster. So this Quartermaster, it's a 3 and a blue for a 2/2, and when it comes into play, you get to search your library for a vehicle or equipment card and put it into your hand. So this particular list has 3 of those, and your targets are one Smuggler's Copter and 1 Umezawa's Jute. It's a pirate too, so.
And I think we were playing with Copter, messing around with it, just as a good filter effect, especially when you've got little 1/1s and 2/2s that you can use to equip. But I think our list was probably stronger than this one.
I think so.
It was a little bit more of a Chalice on one type of deck, where you're really trying to lock people out. And I think we were playing Wasteland, which I think is critical, right? Where if you can successfully get down a footpad or a cut person, make them sacrifice a land, and then you get to Wasteland them, you pretty much won. This list is looking a little differently. All right. So, and Goldfish, MTG Goldfish talks about how it really wasn't that busted.
No, it wasn't. No, it did kind of turn out to be kind of like a big fluke, right?
But it was fun to play.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, there's a KMC tournament. 4-color control took it down. Dragon Stompy, Grixis Delver, Lands, Grixis Delver, Imperial Painter.
Imperial Painter.
6th. So let's look at Dragon Stompy, because it's fun to look at lists.
I love looking at legacy lists,
especially when you get to see them like that. It's a great thing to do while we're waiting for.
What this one is a weird one. I haven't seen one like this.
All right, so what do we have going on here? I haven't looked at this, so I'm looking at it for the first time with you.
Right off the bat, I noticed 4 Thunderbreak Regent.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I've seen those in them before, but never have I seen Glorybringer in them as well.
Ooh, okay. So this is the main part of this deck is Blood Moon's Magus of the Moon. This one's only playing
This
one.
is a real Dragon Stompy.
Yeah. We're actually playing Dragon Stompy for a change.
Right. Like, most Dragon Stompies don't even have dragons, but this one, they were like, no, I'm making it Dragon Stompy.
I'm going to do it. And Goblin Rabblemaster can just win games, right?
Oh, I've seen it happen.
It can be really strong. You can get it down really quick. You can get it down turn 1 with a Chrome Mox and a Soul Land. And sometimes you play it and your opponent goes,
I'm
gonna lose.
Yeah, can't beat that card. Okay.
Ouch.
Yeah, and they, of course, they've got their 4 Blood Moon, their Simian Spirit Guides, that fast mana package, and then this is another card that I have a huge soft spot for is Fiery Confluence. I don't know, just something feels good to just like pay 4 mana and just deal 6 damage to your opponent's face. But not only that, but you have more options too. You're able to deal up to 3 damage to all creatures, which doesn't really kill anything except for Goblin Rabble-Masters.
Right.
Oh my goodness! I just barely noticed the Territorial Hellkites too. I'm just like talking about the cards I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Territorial Hellkite was just printed in the recent Commander deck. I think it's like a 5/4 haste.
Okay.
And I think it has the here. I'm actually. Should I just pull this up?
I can read it real quick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Since we're in this.
I think it's a 5/4 haste that like has to attack a different player each time. And that's like the catch, right?
All right, Flying Haste for 4. And it's a 6/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to choose an opponent at random that Territorial Hellkite didn't attack during your last combat. And Territorial attacks that player this combat, if able. If you can't choose an opponent this way, you tap it. So you get to swing for 6 the first time.
And then it gets tapped, and then you get to swing for 6.
It's kind of exerted.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But 4 mana to push 6 damage is very...
So, and then there's kind of this backup game plan where you can play Ensnaring Bridge and try and just win with Chandra, Torch of Defiance instead.
Yeah, we got Boils, and we've got some Abrades, Trinispheres, Sulfur Elementals. Okay. Yeah. This deck's sweet.
So this one what? Took 6th at a pretty big tournament.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got.
I want to see the painter list. I want to see...
Yeah, they showed a painter list last week. So
I guess we did, huh?
This one took, 6th place.
Oh, look.
Yeah, there's the Hellkite. All right, Painter. Let's look at it. Who doesn't want to look at Painter?
I love the Painter deck.
Oh, we got to move this thing out of the way here.
Yeah, we do.
Sorry, guys. We had that there the whole time, didn't we? All right.
It wasn't showing up on the other one.
Ah.
Yeah.
So here's... Oh, it's because I did this. Oh,
yeah, you have it on the whole monitor. There you go.
There's what I did wrong. This one, you've got... it's kind of weird how it's like a similar-ish build, right? 4 Blood Moons, 1 Magus of the Moon. You got the Soul Lands. You have Mountains. You have Simian Spirit Guides. This one gets to play Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, right? Because
main board.
Painter Servant gets to say blue every time you pick a color, and then suddenly all those Pyroblasts and Red Elemental Blasts gets to just counter everything, because everything is blue.
And who doesn't love Goblin Welder, right?
And what's crazy is Pyroblast and Red Blast usually are pretty strong, even if you don't have a Servant out, because so many Legacy players are playing blue, right? Even you sometimes leave them in, even if you're not playing against blue because of that, because of the Servant. And then, of course, the win condition is Grindstone.
Manic Vandal, yes. When it comes into play, it destroys an artifact.
Yeah, that's what you want to be doing, right? For 2. For a 2/2.
Hey, welcome in, Austin Lee.
Austin Lee, we are right in between rounds, so we're just checking out some Legacy decks. We should have about 5 more minutes before round 3 starts up here, when we'll get back to some live magic.
Keldon Vandal, HC Fox. When we did our Chaos draft for our store's 1-year anniversary, I opened up a foil Keldon Vandals in my pack, and I was like, I love this card. It's nothing like crazy special, but
yeah. So
I was super thrilled.
This is a pretty normal painter's list.
Yeah.
Right. The one of Hangerback Walker sometimes isn't there, but it's something you can go find with Recruiter, which helps a lot. I'm not sure if the Relic of Progenesis are main deck in a lot of painted lists now. But there you go.
Love the 4 main deck Chandra.
Yeah. That's where the deck wants to be now, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see if we have anything else exciting to look at from Legacy from this last week. And Legacy Challenge Online, we had Tess take it down. 4-color Loam was second.
Okay.
Grixis Delver third. Eldrazi Stompy 4. 4-color Control 5. And let's see what this is. Storm. I guess if you guys want to see Storm, this is what we just saw play. We saw Storm versus Dredge and Storm versus Dredge, right? So this is really close to. No, I don't know if either player is playing this exact list.
I don't think either of them were playing Chromoxes, were they? Maybe no. Oh, maybe they were.
This is maybe closest to Danny's list. I'm not sure if he's playing Rite of Flame. But yeah, we saw this play out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Burning Wish gets to go find Empty the Warrens or Tendrils of Agony or whatever it needs, and you win because your storm count is high. And we just saw that play out. But if you guys want a quick screenshot of what a Storm list looks like. If you're really interested in Storm, I don't think you suddenly need
a list.
A list from us, though.
Yeah, they're pretty standard.
There's a couple variants. 2 choices, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like this Storm list was playing 2 Perilous Voyage in the sideboard.
That's weird.
And Sean is playing the Rug Delver list, same as last week.
Got a Canadian Threshold deck.
Yeah.
Some other things like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cards. In a very pretty presentable view.
Thank you, MTG Goldfish.
Let's check this again real quick. We should be really close to. There we go. We've got some players.
Well, these are not the people who are sitting down. We will change them momentarily. Because I know what one of them is, right?
You got to change it here when you're on studio. Yeah.
Well.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah, let's fix these things. Let's update stuff.
What is the alter here or what is the meta for Legacy here? Or what is the meta in general? In our store, we have a really nice. I guess we have a pretty good representation of a bunch of variety of decks. We have quite a few lands players here, and for a little while we had quite a few Death and Taxes players, but it changes in our store quite frequently. Players like to try different decks out. They own quite a few different Legacy decks, and so we see quite a bit of variety. Like today, we just saw on our 2 on-camera matches, we had Storm and Dredge versus Storm and Dredge. Or Storm versus Dredge, Storm versus Dredge.
Right, and that's not really something that we've seen before.
We've seen a bunch of Storm before, but not necessarily that much Dredge, right? So here we're going to have something very different. TJ, I believe, is on either a Sultai or a 4-color list, and Alfred will discover together what he's on. So we definitely have our meta has Death-Red Shaman in it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a ton of show and tell.
We got a Delver list.
Yeah, here's a Delver.
Let's start there. Oops, wrong one.
But at any time, we don't have a ton of elves in here as well. But elves isn't quite as hot as I thought it might.
There is a player who plays elves here, but he doesn't play all the time.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen it on camera in a really long time.
So in Legacy right now, we have. It's kind of in flux. Every major tournament has a different deck winning it. It seems like there's a lot of 4-color lists kind of running around, testing out different ways of going about it, whether they're more control or more aggro.
Yeah, a lot of them are trying this like Hess dealio, or a lot of them are just kind of that Leovold / True Name Nemesis.
Yep.
And we've seen other people try other things. They just are trying to figure out what the right 4-color deck is, and even we just saw a 4-color Deathblade deck. Yeah, there's everybody's trying to test it out, trying to figure it out for themselves. A lot of brewing going on.
And then of course Miracles is still a thing, and we often have Miracles on camera here, even though there's really only 2 players or so in our
2.
But I mean 2 out of 20 or so. It's a significant portion.
And Josh doesn't always play Miracles. We saw him on the Death Shadow deck the other week, and I happen to know that Noah doesn't always play Miracles either.
Let's studio and peek at table 2. Let's see what we have happening there. There we've got Storm versus something else. Danny on Storm again. Okay. So we've got a Tarmogoyf. Just a card you expected to see.
Yeah. All right.
This card's definitely fallen out of favor both in Modern and Legacy. It's maybe at the lowest price point. It's been in everything except for the Future Sight one. That's maintaining its kind of value up there. It's down to like what, $50-$60?
It's really pretty low for what it's been in the past.
These are a $5 tournament with a pretty awesome prize payout.
Actually, it's our Fridays that are $5, and then
are they still 10?
They're 10. Oh. They're 10 for Legacy, but our prize payout's higher.
Okay, I thought we dropped it back down. I wasn't sure.
Maybe we did. I don't know. I never play Tuesdays. I'm always here.
I think for quite a while it was a $10 with a high payout, and now I think it's back down to 5.
Yeah, we also do like every other week we do a win a box.
Yeah.
Which we just had this last Saturday. Not to brag or anything, but
yeah?
We split, but I was the only one that was 3-0. So
right on. With some Punishing Jund, you took it down?
I did.
Who did you split with?
I split with Paul on lands, and I beat him. And then Josh on Miracles, and I beat him as well. And then I also the only other player that was in the top 4 was Jeff. Playing Maverick.
Yeah.
And that's who, if we had done the whole top 4 dealio, I would have played him first. That was probably my most confident match.
So you think you could have gone a little further?
Yeah, Jund deals with the whole, like, Thalia, Mother of Ruins game plan pretty easily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we see Foil Unearthed from TJ, which can be fantastic.
It's awesome.
Here it just buys back Goyf and...
Just buys back Goyf. Yeah, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Sometimes it's amazing. Other times less so.
Yeah. Well, it's looking all right here.
Yeah. TJ's successfully wastelanded 2 lands.
What deck do we think is going to take the win tonight? It's round 3. We see a Delver. So I'm pretty sure that the 2 matches that we have right now are all undefeated.
Right.
So next match, it's going to be one of these 4.
Yeah. So we've got these 2 decks you're seeing here. We have a Storm player, also undefeated, and one more player that's, I'm not sure what he's on. Maybe he's the Dredge player, right? Maybe it's Storm versus Dredge.
Well, let's take a peek.
No.
Of course, they're shuffling.
We don't get to know.
We never get to know. We never get to know. Yeah, we're not sure who the 4th player is at the moment.
With 20-plus players, there might be another player that could squeeze in as well.
Oh yeah, it's the Dredge.
Yeah, so Storm player gets to play Dredge. They get to do the exact same matchup they just did. There's a Nimble Mongoose.
Oh, this is Canadian Threshold.
Yeah.
I don't think we can fit that on here.
Yeah.
Let's just do
Canadian Thresh works, or Can Thresh.
Just Rug.
Sure.
That works too.
Yeah, Rugdover. That's the old name.
It's not the name I want to put, but I don't know.
TJ's got one of these. I've been playing with it, so I'll show you guys. It's a Goyf Rocks die. Oh, that's upside down. There it is. These are made for Paragon City Games. You can see they've got their logo on them.
Mm-hmm. They're hard to see on the camera because they are a little. They're not meant for what he's using it for, but
they're pretty fantastic. Is a good way to represent what the Goyf is, right. And they're nice and heavy, so they don't roll around like crazy.
Hey, Trials Game, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. The Delvers finally flip.
Yeah.
The Program 52, thanks for the follow as well. Appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and give us a follow, and we're going to be having quite a bit more content than we have in the past. There'll be some Magic Online streams during the daytime. So if you see a notification coming at you saying Paragon Cities just went live during the day, it's often going to be an MTGO stream.
Yeah, we'll be doing standard and legacy MTGO streams during the day, and then we'll also have our normal live tournament streams Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And Devger. There is some news.
Uh-oh.
Not that this is the best time for the news, but we're going to try to push Modern again.
To have Modern on...
I'm not sure if it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday yet.
Okay.
But the plan right now is to do Modern. So once we get a following on that, then we get to start streaming Modern too.
All right, here comes a Goyf attacking in. Alfred's down to 7 versus TJ at 10. And he's got a follow-up of a Toxic Deluge. That's going to probably get it done. Looks like Alfred just has some red cards in hand. So I think what he could do here is could he bolt the Goyf? Is the Goyf small enough?
I said the M word.
I think so. My bad. I think this is going to work. All right, so Deluge is going to take down the Goyf low enough that Alfred can do one of these two things. All right, so he tried Fork Bolt and Fork
Death
Bolt
Shadow Wednesdays.
Lightning Bolt's going to get countered, so his Goyf is going to live. Oh yeah, Fork Bolt sorcery. Can't do that.
Well, and that's the thing, guys, is like every Friday we stream Legacy, but our biggest tournament is always Modern, and we've wanted to show Modern tournaments for a while, but we've not been able to get a following on a day other than Friday, and that's our other Legacy day. We like Legacy at this store more than any other format, so we haven't let Modern take that day from us.
So here we can again see, this is the second game where we've seen Toxic Deluge take a huge swing, really change the way the game was looking. It happened earlier against Brian was able to pull off a Toxic Deluge in his Food Chain deck versus Zach in his 4-color Deathblade deck. And Alfred just lost 2 Delvers.
Oh, a Lightning Bolt is so close. That's 1 damage away. And the Tarmogoyf is going to take this one.
Yep. So,
all right.
Fork Bolt to TJ's face, and Bolt doesn't quite get there. Let's see. Let's take a peek at Storm versus Dredge again.
Ugh.
All right.
Things are happening this time.
So, this is Justin on Dredge?
This is not Justin. This is June.
June on Manaless Dredge.
Yeah.
So, we saw June win versus Storm because he had the perfect timing sideboard card Mindbreak Trap when not Daniel on Storm, but the other Storm player, Shay on Storm, went off and was about to win, right? And then Mindbreak Trap said no. So Daniel's on a little bit different type of Storm list. Oh, he does have the Red of Flames. Okay. So it's very similar to the list we looked at just briefly in between matches. All right, and June again, since he's on Manaless Dredge, he probably discarded due to hand size early. Maybe not, though. I'm not sure if he was able to pull that off. So we didn't see, obviously, the early... Look! There's some Lion's Eye Diamonds and a Burning Wish.
And there's that Burning Wish that we were talking up earlier.
It's always good when you have 4 Lion's Eye Diamonds.
So does it actually feel just fantastic to you to see your own altars on the stream?
Yeah, that's cool.
If it were me, I would be like super proud.
Occasionally, I've given an altar to somebody, and then like a year later, I played against it. And I remember doing that. Yeah. That was great fun. That was great fun.
All right.
All right, so here Daniel is not using dice, but his storm count is 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's got plenty of mana to go do things. Now it's 8.
Yep.
Right?
Just Infernal Tutor for another Infernal Tutor.
He's going to find another Burning Wish.
Burning Wish.
And go get a Tendrils.
Tendrils and game.
Yeah. 4 Lion's Eye Diamonds does that.
Yeah, well. So I'm not sure if that was game 1 or 2. We saw him shuffling earlier, so I guess it'd be 2 or 3.
Yeah, I took this Burning Wish and went in a fun, different direction with it.
HC Fox has a compliment for you.
I fixed the new border. Made it look pretty. These ones turned out pretty cool, I think. I'm proud of how they ended up.
Yeah, so I actually think that Storm was able to win this match. That's what it looks like to me. And let's get over to the other one. Watch them shuffle a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jorgensen, it doesn't look like anybody's pile shuffling. If you're even still in the chat. I assume you are, but you've been so quiet that it's hard to tell.
I always pile shuffle now as a way to count my cards, count my deck. I've made mistakes enough times when I'm sideboarding that I end up with 59.
I like to do it at the beginning of the round, and then
that way.
And then not again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Danny is undefeated here. Well, and when you have a new cool altar in your deck, you play better.
Yeah, you got to show it off.
It's a thing, yeah. So you're more incentivized to win.
You can't really show off a pretty card to a stream when you're not winning.
Right.
Because then you don't get to be on stream. You have to win to be there. It's something you earn.
I kind of want to get some foils of those. And
Power of the altar.
Do an altar of it that way, because they'd look pretty cool.
Severac. All right. That's awesome, Jorgensen. I figured you were there. Just had to make sure you were alive, I guess. Remember last time?
Because Amazon Prime delivered it.
Right. Because Amazon. Right. How is the Program 52? Your question is, how's Infect in Legacy right now? Actually, Infect is really pretty good. We don't have Infect in our store that I know of.
Just occasionally, somebody stops in and plays it.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times. We've had a couple people play it and then sell out of it. It's a very specific style deck, and people are used to playing against Infect. They know how to play against it. It's been around long enough. Anybody who's played Modern while it was there, they know it. It's a strategy. It's a strategy that is.
That's it. I'm doing it. I'm playing Infect.
You'll run it next time? It really is a good deck.
And that's certainly a viable thing. Sometimes our meta is strange enough that you don't know what to expect. So it can be kind of hard to try and meta the store. Some players definitely like to do that, right? Oh, I saw a whole bunch of burn, so I'm going to bring this. That's another Legacy deck we don't see a lot of here is burn. People that come here to play on Tuesdays are they have enough variety of choices, and it's not a big, huge open or something where burn might do what.
Ever since Ian sold out of his collection, the only deck he kept for Legacy was burn because its value is so low that he felt like if he's going to keep anything, keep something that's.
I kind of like it though because now we have a more honest meta, right?
Yeah.
If you go and play in an open or a GP or something, you're going to see a lot more burn than what we see at our store.
See, look at this. Wickelmack has never been defeated at Paragon. Never been defeated.
That's impressive.
So do you think he just showed up one time, took down the tournament, and just never came back? Just quit while you're ahead?
Or he's undefeated because he's never lost here, but he also hasn't won here.
Maybe. You think he won his first round and was like, that's it?
Well, he might be from out of state, and he just hasn't ever lost or won.
I'm just trying to figure it out. That's it.
9-0. That's fantastic.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. So you come in on Fridays. You've done 3 FNMs and just can't lose. That's awesome.
I started out that way.
Yeah, I think that's how I started here too.
Coming here, I was doing really, really well, and then there was a Lands player who's not here anymore, and I could not beat him. Every time I got paired against him, it was always in the first round after doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh yeah, Thomas, absolutely. No, I remember that you were here at least twice, Thomas. I knew you won. I knew you won both times that you were here. I didn't know you were here a third time.
TJ's going to try and surgically extract Brainstorm, I believe, which... Oh, no, he hits Daze. Either way would have been pretty effective against Alfred since he had both of them in hand. I think I would have taken Brainstorm there, but maybe TJ has some knowledge we don't know about.
Yeah, and that's interesting, Thomas, because if I remember correctly, you're on Death and Taxes. We've had like 2 or 3 other players in our store move off of Death and Taxes, and yeah, Thomas just comes in here and just wrecks everybody with D&T. Yeah, it's a great deck.
All right, you got a quick look at Alfred's whole deck here. It looks like he brought in a Submerge. He's got the Nimble Mongooses, pretty stock, rug, Canadian Threshold type list, I think. And Submerge is a pretty strong card when you're facing a Tarmogoyf.
What other decks did you play, Thomas? Because I only saw you play the Death and Taxes deck.
All right. Free from fear of Daze, TJ is going to unearth Deathright Shaman.
Reanimator, D&T, and lands. Yeah, that's awesome. It just proves that you can play like any legacy deck to success, you know? It's a lot of fun.
Especially if you're a strong player.
Yeah, especially if you're a strong player, no question about it.
All right, TJ looks like he might be light on lands, which is why the fear of Daze. If you've only got 1 land, Daze is really strong.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt.
That's going to get taken care of a second time, and Delver's going to come down. And Alfred has a Stifle. He pulled off of that last Ponder, or last Brainstorm. I think it was a Ponder. That's always a trick too, right? When to hold Stifle and when not to. If TJ just had a fetch land, Stifle would have been amazing. But Alfred's going to go for the more tempo play of getting Delver out there, especially since he's, I think, stacked the top cards of his library. He knows it'll flip.
Right.
And TJ's going to shuffle. I think he's looking for a land.
I would imagine so. It's almost like casting cards is important.
And he doesn't find one, I don't think. Oh, he did.
Wow, okay. Basic Swamp probably wasn't the land he was wanting, but
when you've got...
You take it where you can get it.
He might not be on a 4-color list. He might just be a Sultai. I'm not sure.
In fact, now that you say that, I don't think we've actually seen red, have we?
I don't think so. Yeah, and on top of that, it seems like a lot of people keep hating, graveyard hating as well. People like to play Force of Will. I like playing Force of Will.
Yeah, people love the Ponders and Brainstorms.
Yeah. It's hard to play lists without Force of Will sometimes for me. I just like to do it too much. Okay, so Alfred is stifling the Snapcaster trigger. At least he wanted to.
I think he may have missed the opportunity, and TJ's kind of holding him to it, saying, "No, you already let me."
I'm not sure that's how that works.
Target, but maybe not.
If you allow it to come into play, and then he says, "Okay, I'm targeting this," you can stifle it right then.
Yeah, you're like, no.
That's when that ability goes on the stack, and that's when you stifle it.
Yeah.
I think he should have been able to. I'm not. Maybe he chose not to.
Maybe he chose not to. Yeah.
All right. So apparently he didn't have it all stacked up.
Yes. Awesome.
Some elves, right?
Thomas is gonna play some elves. Cool. Oh man, elves is one of the most insane decks in my eyes. So many lines, so many ways to go about it.
All right, so now TJ knows Stifle is in hand, and Alfred only has other lands in hand, so he's able to play Leveled. So this game kind of turned in TJ's favor, from having 1 land and not much else, to.
Yeah, it really looked like Alfred was just going to run away with it there for a moment.
We're doing a quick count of how much damage Alfred's actually taken. Interesting, he doesn't have, does he not have a tropical island to go find? Oh, it's in hand. Both of them are in hand. That's why he doesn't have one to find. And another land! Just what Alfred doesn't need.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to flood out for the loss, unfortunately.
Alright, he takes 2 there, off of Deathrite Shaman.
Lawson Lee, Commander is pretty much every single day in this store. I can honestly say that if you show up 2 o'clock or later, there will be a pod at minimum with Commander.
And on Fridays, there's usually
8
to 10 players all playing Commander.
Commander's going on all the time here. We have it's kind of crazy. Our official Commander day is Thursday, though. That's the day that we actually tell people that's what we're doing.
So Alfred just stifled the first equip on Jite, which is definitely not what you want to be using Stifle for, but it's kind of like a last gasp. And then TJ has enough mana to do it, to equip it a second time using Deathrite. Yeah.
The question is, what day isn't Commander? Yes, Sunday isn't Commander. Although Sunday, you can always just meet up with your buddies. So, lots of Zur? No. People change their Commander decks all the time here. And I know because I work here, and whenever people want to build a new Commander deck, they give me a list of like 35 new cards.
Right.
And they're like, hey, I need these all pulled. So happens all the time. But no, I haven't seen Zur in a minute. The only player that I knew had a Zur deck just took it apart, and he hadn't played it in a while. So
TJ finds a Liliana of the Veil, which is going to take care of the Nimble Mongoose, and this is all very done.
Yeah,
it was done a few turns ago, but.
Definitely.
When you're playing Legacy and you just draw lands, you usually lose.
Unfortunately.
And like Alfred didn't do anything wrong. Like he was able to fetch away stuff he didn't want from Brainstorm and stuff like that, and he just still drew a land, and then played Ponder and shuffled and still drew a land. So that just happens sometimes.
All right, so TJ takes us in 2, and if we thought that we had a long break between rounds last time, I'm pretty sure that this one's going to be longer.
Yeah, we've got a little while. All right, so real quick, I'm going to see if we can get a different match on camera.
Yeah, if we can, then that's great. If we can't, we might give you guys like 10 minutes of ads or just downtime. 20 minutes is a lot. I mean, we've done it a million times before, but we'll decide. We'll see. We'll see what we want to do. We can always just discuss stuff like we normally do. Yeah, Austin Lee, I actually had an Ur-Dragon one. I really liked the Ur-Dragon a lot. You can cast them super, super early if you have the right stuff, so that's cool though. Okay. Well, guys, real quick, if you guys haven't been in our stream before, we do live streams every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Monday we do standard. Tuesday, obviously, that's our this is our most favorite stream to run. It's our 4-round Legacy tournament, and then on Fridays we also do Legacy, but it's 3 rounds. Go ahead and give us a follow, and you can always catch up on what's going on in Legacy. People are constantly researching and looking at what's going on elsewhere in the country. or in the world, and we always see a little bit of a representation here as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's another thing I should mention. This Saturday is our limited PPTQ. I'm not sure if we have plans to stream it or not. I'll have to talk to our owners, but go ahead and show up. PHAPXB, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, we do have a limited one coming up. Usually in modern season we'll do the constructed ones, and standard we'll do the limited ones, but we'll see if we stream it or not. Not sure if we would actually stream the draft part. We'd probably just do the rounds, but not sure how many people are actually interested in watching limited. All right. Well, Bryce is absent for a moment. He's trying to catch us the game. Oh, and something else to mention. This Sunday, I'm gonna run a cube in this store. I know Jorgensen keeps asking. He's like, "Come on, guys, you need to stream the cube." We just might stream cube on Sunday. I've been wanting to stream my cube ever since I started casting here. So definitely something I want to do. But yeah, how are you guys, chat? What are you playing in Legacy right now? I know Jorgensen was just barely saying that he's putting some stacks thing together. Yep, I thought Jorgensen would say something. I know I want to do it so bad. The only like something specific has to happen for me to do it, and I have to have more than 8 people. And it has to be like an odd number that I can like sit out. We're talking about streaming my cube. Oh, hey.
So we've got Paul on lands and Corey on Soldier Stompy.
Okay.
They're on game 3 and they just started game 3.
Whoa.
I asked them to move as they were like on turn 1.
You're like, okay.
Like, okay.
Sorry, and this was who?
Corey.
Oh, Corey's on Soldiers?
Corey's on his Soldier Stompy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mono white Soldier Stompy.
So they're 1-1.
Dude, Thomas, the red vines were brutal. You have no idea. And the next time that Bryce came in, he brought them in again, and like showed me. He's like, "Hey, look, Kyre. Red vines, they still need to be eaten." And I was like, "No, dude, I'm done."
All right. So Corey's deck plays almost every card in his deck is a soldier, or almost every creature at least.
Creature, yeah.
And he plays a bunch of other things that kind of prison-like elements. He's got Chalice of the Voids. All of his spells cost more than 1, so Chalice is really strong. And it looks like he's going to Chalice on... he can't Chalice for 2, but he can Chalice for 1. I don't think that's going to work the way he wants it to.
Yeah, maybe not.
But I just moved these guys, so they're been interrupted. Confused.
Okay, PHAP. Usually we have just over 20 people for Legacy. That's kind of our normal amount. If it's like a holiday weekend, we'll usually see a lower number, like between 14 and 16-ish. But right now, what do we have? Like 24 players is what we have tonight?
Like that, yeah.
24 players? Yeah. Yeah, Jorgensen, I know. I'm sitting here making excuses, but I promise you, I want to stream my cube more than you want me to stream my cube. I promise you that. It's gonna happen. I'll make Patrick sit down and stream it with me. I can get on and I can share my cube list with the stream. It'll be beautiful. It'll be everything I ever wanted it to be.
So the new Thali out there makes creatures and non-basic lands come into play tapped on Paul's side. And he's going to go get a Tabernacle. So Corey has an upkeep cost on all his creatures now. That's what he's doing right now. Okay. He's paying 1.
Yeah. Yeah, BHAP, the numbers really are amazing. And considering that you also have me and Bryce sitting here commentating, that's just 2 more people that could be playing.
Right. we used to be playing Legacy.
We used to play Legacy.
Now we're in here with you guys.
We play on Friday when the other guys are here. So
I like how Paul has his Tabernacle out.
He's like, reminder.
This thing is out here.
Yeah.
It's not a land. Not really. Doesn't tap for mana. Wasteland's going to take care of Caracas.
Tadab asks, what's a cube? A cube...
Click here real quick. Sorry, go ahead and answer. Never mind.
A cube is usually some sort of block with squares on each side.
No!
Oh!
No.
What? Am I explaining it wrong?
He might really not know what cube is. Is that a serious question, Todd?
Oh, all right. I'll explain it for real. Okay. Yeah, the Wasteland did come into play tapped. They caught it.
Yeah.
But no, a cube is basically a custom draft format where we take singleton cards and people can create their own draft format. So, for instance, my cube is unpowered. I feel like power doesn't quite work with a cube that's 720 cards. Not only that, but it gives a 3-dimensional square. Thank you. Yeah, it's
This Dark Depths also comes into play tap.
It's a lot of fun.
Don't think that's gonna matter.
So we just shuffle up the cube, make randomized booster packs.
Yeah, so there's usually cubes are either powered or unpowered.
Or popper, or there's a lot of different kind of cubes.
Yeah.
But when I say that mine's unpowered, it does not include the Power 9, and it actually doesn't include like a good 20 other cards that kind of get thrown in with the term power.
What's another example of a powered card that's for cube?
Gaia's Cradle, Mana Vault, Soul Ring. Let's see.
Otherwise, yes, it's a legacy cube, legacy cards, and a few vintage cards, right?
Unpowered isn't quite legacy because there are absolutely banned legacy cards in the cube, like Survival of the Fittest is absolutely in the cube, and there's a couple others as well.
Mind Twist is in there.
Mind Twist is.
Yeah. And so it's fantastic because you just bring this huge box of cards, right? They're all sleeved up, which is where the idea of cube.
I actually have it within like arm's reach. If
and you just put these into piles of, yeah. I think most people have a pretty good idea of what cube is, but you shuffle it all out, put them in piles of 15 cards, and then you do an actual draft with these cards, and you build a deck, and then you play at a tournament.
Yeah, so the my cube, seriously, every card is so powerful. You can really kind of choose what you want to do. It's not like a normal draft format where you feel like, oh, this is the right thing to be doing, or oh, I'm reading the signals.
Right. So
you don't have to do that quite as much.
Back to this game real quick. Paul was able to successfully get out of 2020, and it looks like Corey had an answer. But he chose to Chalice of the Void on 2, and so the card is Suspension Field. It's actually a pretty strong hate card.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to play it.
And he hated himself out from playing it. So this is one, not Suspension Field. What is the card?
Is it not?
No, it's What is the card?
I thought it was a suspension field.
No, that's...
Maybe it's just because you put that name into my...
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's...
Somebody's going to help.
Yeah, what is the card that it costs 2? And it makes it so you can't... You can't search unless you pay 2.
Jeez, Thomas is super good at explaining things to people. Cube, a collection of 400 to 500 personally selected, meant to be broken into 15 card packs at random and drafted.
Man,
but that's what's so awesome about Cube, though, is like you get to just do what you want. It's not like normal drafting. Is it this one? I don't know if that's spelled right, but
no. Suppression field.
Suppression.
There we go. Suppression
field. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodness. That's why I couldn't find it.
You want to see a cube with 4 cards? See, my cube's large. It's 720 cards. That's kind of the max usually because it can support a full 2 pods of drafters. But yeah, typically cubes are between 400 and 500 cards, but mine's larger.
Goodness, I can't find it still. Fail.
Did you really fail that bad? Suppression.
Yeah, it's there.
No worries, P-Hat. We got it.
It's just not pulling up, so I can't read this one. So Paul got this.
Yeah, Paul got it, Patty B. Patty B, MTG.
There we go. Okay, so activated abilities cost 2 more unless they're mana abilities, right? So if Corey had been able to get both of those down, Paul would have needed a ton more mana in order to be able to copy
activate Thespian Stage.
The Dark Depths. Yeah, but instead he tried to go for Chalice of the Void on 2 to shut down Life of the Loam, right? And whatever else Paul would have been going for.
Tada, but that's what's so nice is that if you don't have friends to draft with, you just get to come and hang out and cube with my cube.
That's when you draft with somebody else's cube. Yeah, that's how that works.
That's like what I built the cube for. People are like, "Oh, I don't have anybody to draft with," and I'm like, "Well, I have a cube, so yeah, you do."
Yeah. You probably don't want to build your own draft or your own cube until you have some people to draft with.
Yeah, probably. Where I work in a game store, it kind of makes the whole finding the people that want a cube a little too easy.
All right, we have how much time do we have left?
Probably about 5-10 minutes.
Castaway can be removed before exiling a creature. Okay, actually, so this was a question that they had come up. Corey's got Castaway in his sideboard, right? Which is a newer card. It exiles a creature until Castaway leaves the battlefield, and you can cycle it for a white.
Oh, that's cast out.
Cast out, right, not Castaway. Yeah. So the question was, if Corey plays hard cast out, targeting a Merit Ledge token, 2020, can Paul respond with a Corrosion Grip to disenchant the cast out? Will the 2020 leave the battlefield? And the answer was that it won't. It won't, because normally if a token leaves the battlefield, it never comes back, right? And so cast out's a nice answer. But if you respond to the trigger, the 2020 will stay in play. It never actually leaves, because cast out looks and says, you're going to get exiled unless I leave the battlefield, and it leaves the battlefield before, so it never actually leaves. You don't get to blink it.
Yeah. Jeez, Thomas. Yeah, I've met people like that where they just like go crazy building all sorts of different types of cube. Honestly, just maintaining my one cube, there's enough work. It's enough. Yeah. It's enough. So like kudos to the people who can do that, because like I wish I could. I honestly wish I could. That would just be too much for me. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sever the skull. No kidding. It really is insane.
Especially when a lot of people who have cubes try to foil them out. Right?
Are you laughing at me?
No. It's just everybody I've talked to who does it is like, why?
Like, why did I start doing this?
I shouldn't have done that.
I've had so many people tell me, they're like, yeah, I've been thinking about, you know, like building my own cube and like getting it all pretty and stuff. And I look at them and I go, don't do it. It's just not worth it.
So, no, Big Daddy, that's changed.
Yeah, it has to do with how they've worded the cards, Big Daddy, because before Tide Hollow Sculler had 2 separate abilities.
Right.
Okay, so like the reason it worked that way is because it would come in, it would do its thing, and then like in response, if you exiled it, then there's no ability to bring it back.
You'd bring it back before it ever left play,
right?
It was a weird trick, and so they've changed it. So now that it's all one paragraph, it's all one trigger,
one ability.
It actually never does leave play, and I wasn't sure. We weren't sure. We asked a level 2 judge, and that was his answer.
Yeah. And
that's what it says.
Yeah, and you'll see that as well.
Castaway can be removed from play before exiling a creature, and so the creature never.
Yeah, and Magic the Gathering has done this with a lot of cards, actually. Like, they originally printed Fiend Hunter.
Right.
A 3-mana 1/3 that comes into play and exiles a creature, and then it has that second paragraph where it's like, okay, then if it leaves, then it comes back, right? But look at Banisher Priest. It's like a fixed version. Right. And then look at the new
Paul was just responding with a Corrosion Grip, just a disenchant spell.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's also, we just got 2 new cards that do this, right? The Kite Sail Booter and also Hostage Taker.
Yeah.
Hostage Taker, it's all one ability.
All the same thing. So you can't trick a player who doesn't understand the stack quite as easily. Because it wasn't clear, right? Better players understood how it worked, but it'd be really frustrating if you're a new player and you're like, haha, we're playing in a pre-release or something like that, and look what I can do. Your thing's gone forever. Nope, that's how it works. Deal with it.
Yeah,
so they got rid of that.
Very fixed. So all these cards are much, much worse with blink effects. So.
But we all looked at it and went, I'm not sure if the token ever leaves play or not. And it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, Wicklemek, that's exactly what happens is people are like, Kyr, come play EDH or Commander, and I'm always like, I don't have one. And they're like, you have a cube, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I literally will just break out my cube and just go, I want to play this.
Yeah.
And just build a deck. It's never like amazing, but it always works. So.
Right on. All right, guys, we have. How long do we have? What's our time until round 4?
Another 10 minutes.
10 minutes until round 4.
10 minutes until round 4. Yeah, it really is a weird interaction. No kidding.
How much time do we spend shuffling the cube? So usually the amount of time spent shuffling the cube is how long it takes for the last 2 people to show up.
Yeah.
That's been my experience. There's usually one person who's like, I'm 15 minutes away. So we spend 15 minutes shuffling the cube.
Typically, if I want to do it myself, it probably takes me about a half an hour. I've gotten pretty good at it, but I can do it in 5 to 10 minutes if everybody who's cubing sits down and just shuffles for 5 minutes. It's enough. It doesn't take too long. The hard part is going through and making sure everything's there after. That's the part that I have to do. So I have to go down a checklist and just make sure everything is accounted for. That's the part that takes the longest time, and that's something that I do by myself. So
Sever, I do not believe that Split Second is coming into play here at all. In talking about Corrosion Grip specifically,
yeah,
that trigger still goes on the stack, and then Corrosion Grip is when you play Corrosion Grip is afterwards. So no, I don't. I think it could be just a disenchant, and we'd still have the same result.
Yeah.
I asked that as well at first.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I never set it all out, then it's not too bad. But I don't know. It's not too big of a deal.
It's fun to cube. There's a lot going on. Cube is fun.
It really is.
You can find cube players online on Magic Online, and we're going to show some cube eventually once they start it back up on Magic Online. I can
promise you I will cube a lot for Paragon City Games on their stream, this stream.
Cube online is a little unfortunate. With the creation of leagues online, leagues are great for Magic the Gathering Online, right? For MTGO. With Cube, it's a little unfortunate because one of the nice things about Cube is that you don't see your exact deck when you play it. But because of leagues, there's multiple people that have drafted separate cubes, and so sometimes you'll see the exact same card. So hating a card isn't really a thing because of leagues, but you get to play so much faster than if you do a tournament that's not a league, right? So there's pluses and minuses to it. That's the question: is what lands do you have sleeved? There's quite a few lands in there.
Well, I have the dual lands. I have shocks, fetches, filters, and then I also have the tri lands, because my cube is multicolored. And then I've got some utility as well. So I've got all the man lands. Well, all the dual colored man lands. Oh, basic? Yeah, I have a whole box of basic lands sleeved for the cube.
But which ones? He wants to know. What is the basic land of choice?
There isn't a basic land of choice. I actually have purposefully made them all different.
Kyrie's kind of strange.
I purposely made all my basic lands for my cube different.
Every single one is a different art from a different set. Well, there's some.
Personally chosen. It's a singleton cube. Come on, Thomas. That's the way that's the way it should be.
That's awesome.
Cube is crap.
You're weird. I'm out of here. Who puts different basics in a cube? That's fantastic. I like it.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though. It's my cube. Nobody but me gets to make that choice.
I think somebody I thought maybe switched lands out, but no, it was for something else. Like they really bugged them, so they wanted to play, but
I don't think so. I didn't hear a single person complain about it last time.
Different, yeah.
Yeah. Which was kind of funny. All right, where are we sitting on time? We're getting so close. Like 5 more minutes.
All right, I'll do a quick check to see who's still playing and how much time we have left.
You mind grabbing me another one of these while you're out there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Ran out of soda. Yeah, I've put like so much time into Cube. And like when you're trying to build one and a new set comes out and you have to decide, okay, what's actually too good or like actually good enough to be in the cube and what's like just kind of hyped at the moment, like, okay, this card is incredible. Yeah. Nobody complained. Hold my beer. Careful, man. You don't want to hand me your beer. I'll just drink it. Then you won't have any beer. Sever the Skull. Yes. We just got 2 Dark Soul board games in stock. We just got 2 of them. We just got them 2 days ago. I'm not sure if they've sold, but I don't think they have. So, yes. The answer is yes. Yeah, they're awesome. That game is insane. I just remember when that game first came out, and like we busted it open, and oh man, it's kind of crazy what the content you get with that board game. It's beautiful. Do I happen to know what the price is? I don't. Not off the top of my head.
Alright, we got 1 match remaining on turn.
One more match? Alright. Can I roll over? I can. I won't. Have I ever played the video games? You know what, Sever? I've watched Dark Souls be played. I'm actually not very good at gaming, and Dark Souls, to a person who is just not a skilled gamer,
oh yeah,
it's very punishing. I'm not good at it. I don't have the patience for it. I die a lot, more than most. So no, I don't play it, but I've watched so much gameplay that because I just find the game amazing. I've done that with a lot of games. If I just don't feel like I have the time or the skill to play it. You'll be the guy coming in tomorrow and asking for one. All right, sounds good. I'll be here.
That's awesome. I know we totally changed, and it's really weird. It's really I keep leaning this way when I'm trying to get back into the screen. When I realize I'm off screen a little, I keep leaning the wrong way.
It's because your chair's too far over.
Well,
look at that.
Hey,
you're on the screen.
I keep doing that though.
Yeah, exactly. Not everybody's cup of tea.
So you guys do have Dark Souls board game in stock?
We got 2. Cool. We got 2 the other day.
That's
I know we did. So I'm the guy who has to put the stickers on it. So please switch seats. Do we actually need to? You want?
No. We're here for today.
Yep. Sorry.
It's how we started. It's how it's going to end.
Yep. Maybe next Tuesday we'll go back to the other way, and then when people are like, "No, go back," then we'll be like, "Nope, sticking to the guns." Oh, got you, P-Hap. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I didn't quite catch that.
All right, so we have...
Actually, Thomas, we do have a live animal that's the mascot of our store. One of our owners, Alton, he has a dog. Her name is Pixie, and whenever he comes in, he brings Pixie, and Pixie will just stay at the store all day. She's like the sweetest dog ever. Some people like walk in and they'll be like kind of like appalled that there's like a dog in the store, and then they realize that the dog's super nice, and they're like, "Oh, I want to pet the dog," you know. But I wish we got a penguin, but
just a penguin walking around. All right, we got players sitting down.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine how many people would look up? Hey, you know what? We are right next to the aquarium. We could ask him if we could borrow one.
I don't think that works.
Guys, walking distance from Paragon City, there is the Utah Aquarium.
Yeah, it's a nice aquarium.
It really is.
All right, we've got some players sitting down. We have Danny on Storm, TJ on Sultai Control.
The finals, huh?
And both these players, I believe, are undefeated.
Yeah.
And as our other match, let's see if we have a thing
This looks like our Miracles player. No news yet, but I'm pretty...
We're going to guess Alfred on... he was on Threshold versus Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what we want to look at.
Peregrine, the Penguin of Paragon. Yeah. Sever the Skull, you got it. Like, I don't think it could get a whole lot better than that. Peregrine, the Penguin of Paragon. Oh, when I repeat that to Brian after our stream, he's probably going to be on the floor laughing. And then he'll probably go and get a penguin for Paragon City. That sounds like something Brian would do. Now he'd probably look into it, realize we can't get a penguin, and be really sad about it.
This is gonna be like some little stuffed animal. Like the stuffed animal has a name, guys. All right, do you guys want to see Storm versus Sultai Control, or have we seen enough Storm and you'd rather see Miracles versus Rug Delver?
You subscribe if we get a Peregrine. Does it have to be a live animal? Because I'm sorry, the best we can do is a stuffed animal. We could keep it in the stream. Better take the penguin back.
The whole room smells like fish. We do have Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves, right?
Cookie Crisp? Chris? Oh my goodness. Yes, we absolutely have Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves. We have all the colors, I believe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And also Ultimate Guard sleeves, right?
Yeah, we hold all of Ultimate Guard's products, which most stores right now don't.
Yep.
And they've been having a hard time getting any Ultimate Guard. But we have a deal with them, so...
Yep.
There's
a very full stock of sleeves and deck boxes here.
Yeah.
If there's ever anything you need in that regard.
We have the archives too, which I'll vouch for it. I own an archive and I have a boulder, like 5 different boulders. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I don't think I've ever liked how my cards are organized in my bag more than once I got an archive. This is Reg Delver versus Miracles?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't tell. Might not be Josh. Oh no, that's a Dredge.
That's the Dredge.
That's Dredge.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should watch here.
We'll stay here.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. I thought it was Miracles. It's our Malice Dredge. Which makes sense since they're the top tables. All right. We have an Underground Sea. And the follow-up is
something. Yeah, the boulders are fantastic, and the archives, the archives, I'm like super biased about them. They're my favorite, so.
That's right, Shaman. And we get to see TJ's hand here off a paid life for Get Probe. We got Goif Ponder, land. That was the other option. It was either a penguin.
A penguin or a vodka-addicted rescue Russian polar bear.
Obviously, we had a conversation in store just the other day that had nothing to do with that whatsoever, but I like it.
Oh, man.
Here's one of the neat things about Taxiing Probe here is that Daniel can go find a basic land and play around Wasteland. Sounds way better than Penguin. So you know how you were talking about this really friendly dog that some customers are like, oh, there's a dog. Oh, but it's friendly. Not sure if a vodka-addicted Russian polar bear. It would be speaking in Russian and nobody would understand.
Nobody would know what it's saying. Yeah, it'd be weird. Just awkward for everybody, really. We can take it over to the aquarium for food.
I will get you a link. Oh, dear.
Oh dear. My Lord. Part of me is thinking, please don't. Oh, man.
The other match we have Mentalist Reg versus... I already forgot.
Canadian Threshold.
Canadian Threshold, yes.
Yeah. We're going to watch the finals. And then when this match ends, if there is still some Magic to watch, then we'll pan over there.
All right, so TJ is going to keep playing up. So he's showing the cards that Daniel is aware of. Mm-hmm. It's just a way of, you don't have to write down every card. It can get a little tricky when you're playing blue because of Brainstorm. So most players will play up like this until Brainstorm is played, and then they'll just pick up their whole list. And if you didn't remember what they had or you didn't write it down,
right,
then you can right then.
I like that players are, like, especially our Legacy guys, I've noticed that on stream they're super, super willing to do this. Mm-hmm. They don't mind leaving up the cards and making it so our viewers can see what's in the hand. Other cameras, Blue-Eyed Wise White Dragon versus Nimble Mongoose. Yep. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what I said?
Maybe.
I don't know. I felt like I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Another duress. All the duresses.
And we see another Wasteland.
Daniel's going, I have a swamp.
Cuddler's money's on the goose. Not the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
All right, he's going to try to find something here with a Lotus Petal and a Ponder. Got to get something happening. Looks like there's enough there to leave those on top. Looks like he has Dark Ritual, Rite of Flame, Cabal Therapy in hand, and one other card. So he's going to get a fetch land and say go. Let's see if the Goyf and Deathrite can get it done.
It's a fast enough clock.
Yep, and Daniel just had to put an artifact in the graveyard, so got a little bit bigger. He's got sorcery, instant, land, artifact.
Wow, that was actually a really decent pickup for TJ.
Hitting to shuffle away some lands.
Well, he gets to shuffle away lands, but he also drew a Thoughtseize. And I want to say the other card wasn't completely irrelevant either. Because like Thoughtseize plus hold up Deathrite Shaman to take something out of the graveyard.
Yeah, yep.
That actually might be enough to get this
pretty effective
to go his way. What was the other card? Oh yeah, it's a Force of Will. He doesn't have another blue card, but that's a card he does want to see in the matchup.
Yeah, Sultai is fun to play.
It really is.
It's a fun deck where you get different lines of play, so a lot of your games are different, but you also have a pretty good shot versus a wide range of decks just
right.
with the main deck.
All right, so we get to see a hand of Cabal Therapy, Rite of Flames. This is a Dark Ritual and a Burning Wish. What's your take, Bryce? You take the Burning Wish?
So, Burning Wish doesn't really bother me here. I think you take Dark Ritual.
Okay.
That's Daniel's way to get going. He does have Rite of Flame too, but that's not going to do much at the moment.
Right.
He's going to take the Wish. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Wish at that point.
It's the card in his hand that actually does something. I think that's why it's the most tempting card to take. But I do think that taking Dark Ritual is probably the card that is going to hurt the hand the most.
If he draws a Lion's Eye Diamond there, and then he's able to Dark Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond, go find a Infernal Tutor, go search for whatever he wants, then he's on the move. Whereas Lion's Eye Diamond by itself in that hand doesn't really do anything.
Right.
He has to see more than just that. We'll see how it plays out. Daniel goes and gets a non-basic, which can be wastelanded, and TJ maybe shuffled away his wasteland.
I think he did.
Couldn't quite see it there.
He had two, and I think he shuffled both away.
And Daniel just has to pass the turn. All right, so Daniel's at 12. And he can hard cast Force of Will now with his Deathrite Shaman. So Daniel's going to have a hard time going off here.
Yeah, definitely.
And with that Cabal Ritual in hand, he could try and take away a Force of Will effect if he's guessing that's what's in his hand. Normally the Storm player is pretty, that's why that card's there.
Right.
Is to take out the counter magic. But I don't think that there's much else going on there. So, in this regard, maybe taking Burning Wish was correct. If he gets a Past in Flames, does it win here? I don't... Let's see, maybe.
It's pretty close because TJ would get to respond and use Deathrite to take out whatever's the most useful in the graveyard, right? I think it would be enough without the Deathrite being there. but I actually don't think that would be quite enough. But then again, I'm not an experienced Storm player, so it's hard to say.
Yep, so TJ chooses to let the Cabal Therapy resolve, names Force of Will. Force of Will's gone, but he leaves up Death Right Shaman, which protects against that Past in Flames potential.
Yeah. All right, and that'll do it. So TJ's going to take game 1. And while they're shuffling up, let's take a look at our other table.
Oh, they're not shuffling. What's happening?
Oh, man.
This looks like game 2. Probably. So this is Mentalist Dredge on the left. It's not Josh. It's June. June playing Mentalist Dredge. And we've talked about this a decent amount.
Yeah.
Already. How this deck functions, what it's trying to do. It's a little bit different than other Magic decks.
Absolutely.
And Alfred's on a more typical mid-rangey kind of Legacy deck. Doing a little bit of everything.
Yet another Delver variant. I do love the Canadian Threshold deck, though. Something about Nimble Mongoose. And we get so bored of seeing all the Gurmag anglers in both Modern and Legacy that it's like, play Hooting Mandrills, and I'm like, Hooting Mandrill, you know?
it's a different card.
It's like the same thing, but it's not the same. The goose. Yes, the goose.
All right, so Bridge from Below came back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Thug is going to, the Golgari Thug is going to get surgically extracted.
So, answer me this, Bryce. You've been playing Magic for a lot of years. How many times have you killed your own creature to get rid of Bridge from Below?
I have not played against Bridge from Below decks very often.
Okay.
So, no, I can't say I actually ever have done that.
Considering how long I've been playing, I've actually done it once.
Oh, yeah?
It happened.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good way of getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Stifles the real charm of Canadian.
It's a peek at our other match.
Oh, yeah. I need to keep that up.
Okay, we're not quite there.
And not a lot of decks are playing Stifle anymore. In Legacy, I mean, we still see it here and there.
Yeah,
but
for a while it was really
everywhere.
mainstream, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of comes and goes. That's definitely a meta thing in a way, where Stifle sometimes is popular, other times it's not. Sometimes Stifle and Wasteland decks just it's in some Grixis lists as well, but it just ends up being a dead card, and a lot of people don't enjoy that, right? Like both players don't enjoy it because you either stifled me and wastelanded me and we didn't get to play Magic, or it's just a dead card in your hand and we didn't get to play Magic, right?
People are like, when Stifle is no longer that useful, I see people like draw their Force of Will and they're like, I use Force
Stifle. Right, I get to use it. All right, let's switch back to Sultai Control versus Storm.
Patrick, I know Stifle Knot still plays it, but Stifle Knot also doesn't exist.
Well, we saw it.
We did. We did saw it.
We saw it last
week.
They played it.
It didn't win. It was mono blue.
TJ has to take a mulligan. I think that favors Storm. We saw this happen for Danny last match, right? Where his opponent's like, but he was on Mentalist Dredge. A little different.
Much different. A lot different.
I'm going to mulligan. You sure you want to do that?
I'd put money on TJ having Flusterstorms in the sideboard.
Probably one, at least. A lot of decks have stepped it up to at least 2.
Mm-hmm. As it turns out, not a lot of people like losing to Storm.
Right.
Weird, right?
And Flusterstorm's a card that you can easily side in, and it's relevant versus other decks as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Mind Break Trap, not so much. It's kind of a very anti-Storm sideboard card.
It is anti-Storm, but there are combo decks that it also works with. But yeah, mostly just Storm. I mean, I've seen people board it in against decks that like to do a couple things during a turn, and they just use it as a counterspell. Doesn't happen often, but soon people will have 3. Yeah. Iconic Masters is going to change the number of Flusterstorms that people have in their decks.
And there's some Miracles lists that run a full 4. All right, so we see Force of Will, Tarmogoyf, Surgical Extraction Wasteland, and 2 Plated Deltas on TJ's side. That's not fantastic, but he mulled a 6. The Surgical Extraction might work out really, really well, but now Daniel's aware of it. He can probably play around that.
$85, $90 a piece. That makes 2 the number. Yeah, that price is about to be cut in half or more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to drop quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a $30 card.
I think we talked about this, and you asked me what I thought it'd be worth.
I think at the time though the full list hadn't been spoiled, and so that there's weirdness happening there where some of the cards in Iconic Masters aren't as. There isn't enough desirable cards to drop the prices really, really low, but it just depends on how much it gets opened.
Was it printed at a rare? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a mythic. I think it might be lower. I don't think 50 to 60. I think it's going to be lower, Cuddlers. I honestly think so. When I'm guessing, I'm talking 25, 30. I mean it.
So, but there's this element where, like, there's Future Sight lands, and there's other cards in that set, but there's not as much as in, like, the last Modern Masters.
Oh, yeah. Where it settles? Yeah, sure. 50, 60 could easily be where it settles once the availability goes back down. But when the set comes out, guys, it's going to be super available. Just pick them up then. Don't pick them up when they settle high.
So Daniel's got 2 Lotus Petals, a Dark Ritual, Burning Wish, Infernal Tutor, and a land. Yeah, Berserk is played less than Flusterstorm.
Much less than Flusterstorm. I mean, Show and Tell got that reprint too. It's like what, 20?
But I could see Iconic Masters not selling a lot. If the set isn't fun to draft, I don't know that a ton of people are going to be buying it like some of the other Master sets.
Yeah, maybe not.
So there might be a little room there where it stays a little higher than. There's enough other stuff though that people are going to buy the set. I don't know that people are going to be going crazy for it though, and stores are going to be selling out of it, and there's not inventory and. Yeah, absolutely. All those things, like holiday season, other sets, people will want it.
Yeah.
I was really quite excited for the set for a little while, and then I saw the whole list, and I kind of went, I don't think. Yeah, Mana Drain, I agree, will also drop significantly.
Want to talk about a tank? Yeah, Mana Drain. No kidding.
And Horizon Canopy, that's going to come down, and
way
Ancestral
down.
Vision.
Oh, see, here I was just like, what, 6-7 months ago, like, should I pick up my Grove the Burn Willows?
Right.
I don't know. This is a card that's probably going to get reprinted in a master set, probably. I don't know. And then I picked them up, and then here they are.
But all of those cards are cards that were overpriced, right?
Way overpriced.
You look at them and say, okay, this is played as a 1 of or 2 of in 3 possible decks ever. Why is it over $40?
Right.
Why is it $80? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Grove at like $50 a piece, and I'm going, it plays 0 copies in Modern once Eldrazi kind of took over. 0 copies in any deck. All it plays is Punishing Jund and the lands in Legacy. Why is it a $50 land?
Yeah, okay, so those cards needed reprints, but I think the set as a whole could have used more, especially with the name Iconic Masters. I think that Iconic...
They didn't quite hit Iconic on the nose, but it was kind of their own version of iconic.
I think maybe if they had named it something else, I would have been happier with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Cube Masters or something like that.
Cube Masters, that'd be sweet.
It feels kind of like a cube.
It does. Me. Yeah.
It feels kind of like a weird mesh of cards where somebody said, hey, these would be fun to play together. Because there's a lot of cards that I think should have been in there that were not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm always excited when a master set comes out. There's always just like a couple of foils for my cube that were kind of hard to get, and now they're a little easier to get.
And where's the Richard and Ports? Like, there's certain cards where you're going, wait, we still haven't printed that? We still?
Yeah, Rashad and Port's an interesting one because people have been calling for it and calling for it and calling for it. Everybody thought it was going to be an EMA,
right? And
it wasn't.
All right. So Storm is storming here. We've got Burning Wish. For what did you get with the Burning Wish? Empty the Warrens. Mm-hmm. We've got Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, and we're going to have a Force of Will on something. So I hope that Iconic Masters is fun to draft because it looks like a set that once prices settle, it's going to feel very Modern Masters 15 where, okay, all of these cards we just named, if their prices tank and you're paying $10 a pack for them, you're not going to get value out of your box. It's not going to work out that way. You're going to get half. You're going to open up a box and the whole box will be worth $60 or
it's not
$100, not 200 and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where the secondary market and prices changing hurt a set like this, where if they know that these cards need reprints and they're overpriced as is, then the expected value of the box should be really high at first so that when it settles down, it works out to being, hey, I spent $220 on this box and I opened about $200 worth of cards. Great.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. See, Wickelmack thinks that Port's going to get printed as an expedition for the Dominaria set.
Maybe.
Possible.
To squeak out that little extra value, and then it'll get reprinted in the next EMA and tank the price way down.
Yep.
It makes you wonder who is making some of those decisions, right? Because it's like you got a team of people who are developing a set. They don't care about what masterpieces are in the set, right? It doesn't change the draft format or standard or whatever.
Are you saying that because that's exactly what happened to Wasteland?
Yeah.
People wanted Wasteland reprinted super bad, and they're like, here's an expedition. Then EMA comes out, and they're like, and remember those expeditions? Yeah, like here's like a $30 Wasteland as opposed to, like, what were they, like 80?
Right.
All right. They settled.
Here's Daniel, attempt number 2. He's going to Infernal Tutor, go get a Rite of Flame, because he's already got one in hand. Mm-hmm. He's going to cast the first Rite of Flame. It has 2 mana. Cast another Rite of Flame. Goes up to 4. Cast Lion's Eye Diamond for Storm count. And cast Empty the Warrens. He gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10 1/1s. Yeah, I agree. Could be in standard.
I actually agree. I don't think it's a card that's just amazingly busted. Mm-hmm. It's not very many decks can use a card like that.
Did he cast Lotus Petal that turn?
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh. Doesn't matter. Toxic Deluge says goodbye. Toxic Deluge for 1 takes care of the goblins.
Yeah, TJ has all the answers.
So now we're in this awkward position for the Storm player. He's got Lotus Petal and 1 card in hand.
Yeah, and now TJ gets to start being a little more aggressive with his cards, so he's going to find a green source here and play this Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, if you can handle 2 interactions from Storm and they've emptied out their hand, you're in a pretty good spot is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have much going on. Yeah, now he's got something going on.
I'd say a Tarmogoyf changes that very quickly.
1, 2, 3. It's at least a 4, 5.
I see 4, 5 because I want to say I can see the 3, 4, but it's not. That's off to the side. So I'm going to say 4, 5. Got land, sorcery, artifact, instant. No creatures yet.
All right, so he took 2 from Deathrite Shaman and then 4 from Tarmogoyf. The 2 was last turn.
Yeah, he just missed it. And that's okay. Got it all figured out.
Click. We're going to see, Infernal Tutor Duress. That's not nothing.
No. Yeah, well, I'll take that Infernal Tutor. Like, no, we don't want you getting back into the game that easily.
Yeah, that was a chance. It's something there. Duress does not hit True Name Nemesis.
Not so much. And TJ gets to put Daniel to 2? Well, to 4.
Thunder.
Yeah, I think he's just going to keep this Force of Will, not cast his True Name Nemesis, and that's all the insurance he needed to close this game out. Cataxian Probe. Hey, look, I got a Force of Will, just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm going to counter whatever you play. The game's over.
Do it. I dare you.
He's still going. All right. He's down to 3. Let's no, we can finish this off. See if they're still playing. Nope.
Our other match was just got done. I have no idea who won this match.
The Dredge or the Delver player definitely won that one.
Yeah, one of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Daniel's going to keep trying. Oh, he's got a Brainstorm. He's going to keep... you could counter the Brainstorm. You don't have to. It doesn't matter.
I probably would.
Yeah,
he'll just say,
well, you either counter the Brainstorm or the thing he finds with the Brainstorm.
That is it.
So, Sultai Control goes 4-0.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. 4-0, not... He won that game 4-0. Look at that.
I can make it even higher.
10-0. That's great. When I say 4-0 right when you're typing it. So
yeah.
Instead of 2-0, he won 4-0.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
There we go, guys.
Yeah, this Sultai Control deck, I've seen it play a number of times, and I've always told myself, hey, if I had the dual lands, this is probably the deck that I would be playing. And watching it again, I'm just like,
it's fun.
I'm pretty sold on that.
It's one of the most fun things I like about Sultai Control is that there's like a 10-card window or so where you can exchange those 10 cards and you totally change the deck and you think differently too. You go from a control deck to an aggro deck or a true name deck, or there's enough variety there where you only need like 85 cards and you can play a different thought process with the same deck almost.
Right.
Which is great.
Jorgensen, you're done just in time. The stream is just ending.
Wait, he put something together.
Yeah.
It was a server rack.
Yeah.
From Amazon. It arrived just a few hours ago. Well done, Jorgensen.
We're proud of you. All right, guys, this is going to wrap up our stream. But before we go, I just wanted to remind you guys, we have 3 live streams that we do a week. Mondays, we do standard, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And then we do this stream, which is, let's be real, the best stream with the greatest format. We start at 7 o'clock Mountain Time as well on Tuesdays, and then on Fridays we start around 7:30 Mountain Time, 3 rounds Legacy. And then you can join us for Moto streams, Legacy and Standard, and we may start doing Limited in the future, maybe some cubes and stuff like that. And we'll start doing that basically daily. We'll be doing that earlier in the day.
So give us a follow, and that way you'll get a little notification if that's how you have Twitch set up or whichever you're using.
Yeah.
And
you can always see when we're jumping in.
see when Paragon's going to be popping up, since it might not be the same time every day during the day. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Kara and I will be here.
Yeah.
Right on. Have a good night.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Hail Heroes.